And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about how to find your niche on YouTube and grow an audience. We're going to be doing a step-by-step today. We're going to be diving into analytics as always because it is an FAQ Friday, but I also have some slides for you that I want to walk through that I think will really help the far majority of you when it comes to your content. So there is a lot that I want to make sure that we cover today. So we're going to be doing that. I think it's going to be massively helpful for a lot of you to, really start to understand some of the background on this. I also am going to be walking through just some more things I think will help you in terms of reach, reputation, and revenue as a content creator. We're going to be talking about why those things are so important and how to develop your personal brand. We're going to be talking about how to actually narrow your focus as a content creator by focusing on the concept of ikigai, which comes from Japanese philosophy in Okinawa, Japan. Ikigai meaning reason for being, why you get up in the morning. We're going to talk about the importance of your passion, developing your skills, and then understanding how to properly monetize that and where you fit in the market. So we're going to take your abilities and we're going to find the right market fit so that you can find an audience that cares about the same things as you, that you can provide value for, that also allows you to make money. So those are some of the things we're going to be covering in today's stream. For those of you not familiar, we stream on Mondays when we do Monetization Mondays, Workshop Wednesdays where we do skill building and training on software or techniques. And then, of course, we do FAQ Fridays where we dive into strategy, content strategy, ideation, analytics, and audience development. So this is how we help you grow your reach, reputation, and revenue. Want to thank today's sponsors who are helping us, our good friends over at Streamyard, who are allowing us to multi-stream right now on Facebook, where we are also monetized, at least with Facebook stars, LinkedIn Live, where we grow and develop leads and a reputation, YouTube Live, where we're mostly interacting with the far majority of you, and Twitch.com, X.com, formerly Twitter, and of course Kick.com, because we always want to be on alternative platforms as another way to reach people and just to grow our overall audience. Also want to thank our sponsor, OpusClip. OpusClip is one of the easiest ways I've ever seen to repurpose content. We're going to be cutting up things from these live streams. I'm cutting up my podcast interviews and distributing those things across all of the important platforms, many of the ones I just named. So OpusClip makes repurposing easy with their AI tools, including animated motion text in different templates. You got AI B-roll in there, a lot of great things and more to come. I'm actually going to be working with them at NAB show this year in Las Vegas. I'm heading out to that. Flying out tomorrow, actually, to Vegas. So I'll be up in the air tomorrow. So if you don't see me in the internet streets, that's why. And of course, I want to thank our friends over at Kajabi for allowing me to build my online membership website where I don't give YouTube 30%, where I sell my mini courses, my $99 mini courses, where I also don't give YouTube 30%. A lot of you don't know, YouTube actually lets you do online courses now, but it's a 70-30 monetization split. You give up 30%. That's a lot of money, and then you're taxed on the rest. So yeah, I'd prefer to keep more than half my money. So thank you to Kajabi for letting me build my online membership cohort and community, my mini courses, and of course my one-on-one coaching calls. So thank you to Kajabi for helping me build my online business. We'll actually show you the back end of that in one of our workshops coming up on how to build online courses, digital products, and memberships. And also they have Adobe Express in there, which has AI tools to help you even spice up all of your content. Even if you're not a great editor, you can do tremendous things with Adobe Express. So shout out to them, even though they're not a sponsor. So that covers our initial sponsor shout outs here. We're going to dive into, I think one of the things we can start when it comes to finding your audience and your niche is, I think that for finding your audience and niche, one of the things we have to talk about is this Ikigai framework. I'm also going to answer questions from the chat, but this is really the foundation of figuring yourself out as a content creator, no matter what your platform is. Because a lot of you just don't have clarity. You don't have direction. You don't have focus. You don't have a vision for your brand. And you don't know what you should be doing. There's probably a lot of things you could be doing, a lot of things you're passionate about. But, okay, you're passionate about it. Does it have a large enough audience? Yes or no? Does it have enough ways that you can monetize? Not just because someone else is monetizing, but that you specifically can monetize? And do you have the skills to deliver on this? Is this something you wish you were good at because you're passionate about it, or are you actually good at it? So we're going to have to talk about that, and we're going to definitely get into it. Eric Kraft says, imagine getting Kajabi ad, and then when the live stream starts, Rose thanking Kajabi. You know what? The universe works in mysterious ways, my friend. Martha Henry, Master Gardener, is saying, have a good time in Vegas, Roberto. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lewis says, hey, Roberto, I'm thinking about joining Awesome Creator Academy monthly. It'd be great if you could talk about some of the results people have gotten from it, big ideas of what people learn from it. Actually, in my x.com, formerly Twitter, I actually showed one of our creators, Ben Cooper. He has a online quiz channel on YouTube. I showed that he finally got his 100K silver play button. Ben has been with the Academy for a year, I believe now, following a one-on-one coaching call he did with me. So now he's got a silver play button. We've got Cassandra. She's going to be sending me a copy of her silver play button from becoming a farm girl. She does a homesteading channel and a growing channel. So she does a growing and homesteading channel. So living like a farm girl. Cassandra, she's sending a play button over. Ben is sending a play button over. We've worked with Ken Steep over at the McCann Dogs YouTube channel. They're the largest dog training channel in the world, the largest physical dog training facility in the world based out of Canada. We also helped them when they wanted to launch and do digital products right before the pandemic. They managed to do that. So they went into digital and physical products. They have 1 million subscribers. We're actually going to be adding their play buttons hopefully soon to the Hall of Fame. And Ken has agreed to come onto the podcast and talk about their journey and how developing the brand further through online and digital help them build the email list and go into the digital product space and not just the physical service space for being a dog training facility, but help the evolution of the company, the brand, and the business, and the role that YouTube played in that. So Ken's going to come onto the podcast. Hopefully next week we should be done editing the podcast I did with A Drive, a friend of mine, Dan A Drive, in the Pokemon space, 1 million subscribed channel. He actually did send his gold play button. You should see an unboxing in my YouTube shorts soon from that, maybe in about a week. And we should have the podcast out on the audio and on the, hopefully the video for the podcast channel too. 1 million subscribers. Been working with him, I think, before he had 100,000. They've done great. He also launched a TCG card game called Elestrials, which is now kind of a competitor to Pokemon. And it's doing really well. So we also talked about a 6-figure merch strategy that I helped come up with and develop in our one-on-one coaching calls. So yeah, there's a lot of success stories. Those are just a handful. I've realized that a lot of people don't know what I do in the coaching side, and I didn't talk about it or brag on my clients before. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring more of them onto the podcast, and they'll tell you themselves what their strategies look like, their creator journey. When I interview a lot of these creators, we're also going to talk about the lifestyle component and the mental health component. One of the things I like about what Dan shared in our podcast was he talked about how important the support of his wife was in everything that they built, and also the role that them becoming parents of small children ended up playing in decisions he made, how they adjusted the business, how they found work-life balance in that, how they managed to cope with that and doing with small children and running their career business during the pandemic these last few years. And I think that that's something that doesn't get talked a lot about in the creator community is how do you handle this if you have small children? How do you handle this, as a couple? Do both of you create content, or if one of you doesn't, in terms of that with your romantic partners, your marriage, your spouse? How do we make sure that we feel comfortable and secure, not only in the financial aspects of what we're doing, but making sure that we're making time for everything else that we want to in life, because, what's the point of doing this, making a lot of money, if you end up becoming a slave to it and you end up in platinum handcuffs? Yeah, you could be doing your dream job, but what's the good of doing your dream job if your kids aren't happy? What's the point of doing your dream job if your marriage fails? Like, that's not something that comes up as often. So I'm looking forward to talking more about that in some of these podcast episodes with many of the creators in the community, many of the creators that I've worked with, some that I've admired from afar. And while I'm traveling, I'm going to be interviewing a lot of creators while I'm at NAB show. And we're going to be diving into a lot of these topics. I'm hoping to talk to Hayden Hiller-Smith. We've been DMing about this. I've known him for a while. And I think that he has a lot that he can say on this, especially from the editing side. With everything he and the team are doing at the editing podcast. So great question. I really appreciate this. I'll talk more about some of those things in the future, but that just gives you some insight, and it also just lets you know kind of like what's on my radar right now, and why. So we're going to get into that, and I'm definitely going to make sure I'm seeing your questions in the chat. We're going to make sure we're getting your questions. Just make sure that when you have a question, you're dropping a Q before the question. That way I spot it, and I'm going to star the questions, even the ones that aren't super chats, just so that I know how to get back to them for you. So we're definitely going to make sure we try to get every one of your major important questions answered. So when you put a Q in front of them, it certainly helps. We got our friends over at Living on a Dime to Grow Rich. It says, I have thousands of videos. If I reused old content to make compilations, 10 ways to use sour milk, will those get demonetized for reusing old videos, even if it's mine? It should not. And this is a great question about YouTube's reused content policy. So I want to pivot to this question real quick because I think it's important. YouTube's reused content policy should not attack this style of video. However, the AI behind YouTube's flags for demonetization, its flags for reused content, are not always accurate. If you run into an issue with this, make sure you're either reaching out to chat support. If you're already a monetized creator, you want to reach out to chat support. It's the third button from the right in your YouTube Studio dashboard on desktop. It is a comment bubble with 2 lines in it, and it's right next to the question/help bubble in Creator Studio. So in Creator Studio, you're going to have your profile pic on the right, and this is on desktop. This is the only way you can do it. Then you're going to have the create button, then you're going to have the help button, and then you're going to have the live chat support button to chat with creator support. But that's only if you're a monetized channel. If you are incorrectly hit with the reused content policy flag and a video is demonetized or they ding you in any way, reach out to chat support. Make sure that you talk to them. If not, make sure that you're also appealing this. And then also, if you still are having issues, reach out to Team YouTube on x.com, formerly Twitter, for them to get you squared away. They'll talk to you in the DMs and get the details. But you should be safe making a compilation video of your own content or a reaction video to your own content. It should not be flagged by the reused content policy. Over on my website, awesomecreatoracademy.com, in our blog, we actually talk about how the reused content policy is supposed to work. We also make sure we get you the proper information on how to appeal that. So I'm going to drop a link to that article as a resource for all of you in the chat right now. Reused content policy guide. So we put a guide together on this just as some helpful information for you on my website. So make sure you guys are using awesomecreatoracademy.com, even if you're not joining our membership group, even if you're not doing coaching with me, even if you're not buying any of our digital products. Make sure you're at least reading the information in the blog, because we cover and break down YouTube's policies, how they apply, what they apply to, some of our best practices, and we try to show you how to appeal. And we also link you directly to the policies on YouTube and Google's websites so that you can look at them for yourselves and make sure that you understand. So I've linked in the chat, in the live chat. We'll try and see if we can go back and add this to the description of the video as well as a resource for you. But in the live chat, I have linked to our guide on the reused content policy, and we wrote out everything, and we linked you to the appeal submission form that you need to submit to Google as well. So there you guys go. Great question. Thank you for that. Digital Entrepreneurship says, question, if I were to open a YouTube channel about learning languages, great idea, but I'm learning them as well, is it a good idea? Because I'm very passionate about languages, but it looks like there's a large audience. Well, that's where Ikigai can come in. So the thing is, you've identified that there's a large market for language learning. So there's a big total addressable market. That's great. I can think of a lot of great ways to monetize this, and we have examples from Lingua Maria, for example, of how this can be really monetized, and you're very passionate about it. The real work you will have to do to make sure that people are getting value and not wasting their time is you might have to up your skill level. I'm not saying you can't do this as a learner or from a learner's perspective, and that could be helpful. People might relate to that, but for them to get real value, look at where you can improve and try to accelerate your effort in improving your skills and your delivery. I think it's fine to try to do something where maybe as a community, you learn languages together and you become an excellent learner, but you also, as you're learning, maybe you're putting together study materials, and then it's not, and you just are upfront that it's as a learner, not as an expert and as a beginner. And maybe that's something, and people can relate to that because maybe they want to grow together and not hear it from an expert that talks down to them. So look at upping your skill level because you're passionate about it. There's a large market of people that are passionate about it. It has a lot of monetization opportunity, but you got to get your skill level up. And I think that that becomes important. But start where you are. Start where you are, but get the skill level up. And that's why I put together this slide is I want a lot of you to be honest with yourself about these things. Maybe you're really good at something, but the market is not very big. But the market doesn't have to be big if there's a lot of money in it for it to be able to make a living for you if you're good at it. So skill is fine if it's a small market, but affluent, that could be good. So a primary example might be more advanced levels of financial investors and things like that might be a market for that. So, just something to think about. Just something to think about. Does your course cover video editing tips? If you're talking about Awesome Creator Academy, we have over 100 hours of training, and we do cover video editing in there. There's more material I'd like to add in the near future. But yeah, we cover video editing in Awesome Creator Academy. I just need to know specifically what you're looking for, what you need. It's not the primary focus, but it is something that we definitely have covered. Let's see. We have a super chat from One Blended Bunch, $10 super chat. Thank you. Roberto, do you consider lifestyle a niche, or is that far too broad? If too broad, how would you find a niche within the lifestyle category? I consider lifestyle a vertical of content that is somewhere between entertainment and people and vlogs. So primary example. I no longer consider vlogging a niche. I now consider vlogging a style and aesthetic of content. And now what replaced vlogging, in my opinion, is lifestyle content. But then I think you have to get into what type of lifestyle and narrow it down to a lifestyle. So is this a lifestyle channel for who? So who is the market? What lifestyle is this? Is it the hustle life? Is it the day in the life of an entrepreneur? Let's see how much money I can make today doing this new trick, this new gimmick, this new way of making money. Or is it a lifestyle channel for stay-at-home moms? Is it a lifestyle channel for couples who travel? Is it a lifestyle channel for, women in college and real life on campus? Is it a lifestyle channel for student athletes? Is it a lifestyle channel that is about the nightlife scene and that sort of thing? Is it a lifestyle channel that is around being a military family? Is it a lifestyle channel around being, you know, a mom and an entrepreneur? What is the lifestyle that you're putting on display for the audience? Why does the audience aspire to this lifestyle? What are the brands that are aligned with this lifestyle? What are the status symbols associated with this lifestyle? Who desires this lifestyle? Why do they desire it? Who is this lifestyle inclusive of? Who is this lifestyle exclusive of? Those are things you really need to consider. So the thing is, yes, it's a niche, but you need to narrow and define who the target audience or sub-audience or who the market within that niche is. And then in terms of lifestyle, are you doing lifestyle and then are you doing an IRL content, reality TV, basically content? Because I think that the future of what used to be called vlogging is reality TV content that is in the lifestyle niche that then caters to a specific audience that wants that lifestyle. And then I think that you have to figure out what the tone and rhythm and gimmicks are for your reality TV content if you're going in that direction. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. Does that make sense for you guys in the chat who are watching when I say that? Lewis says, thank you very much for answering my questions. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I realized that monetization is misspelled on the slide. I'm not too worried about it. I'll fix it later. But yeah, thank you for just making sure that I see it. Appreciate you. Regal Boxing, I think you meant to type this as a question versus an answer. Roberto, what is the best way to boost a channel? Better content, I understand, but are there ways to trick the algorithm, like making different accounts and reposting the content? No, you can't trick the algorithm because you need to replace algorithm with audience. The algorithm as a machine is not really something for you to dupe, because what you'd really be duping is duping audience. You'd be tricking people, and you don't want to trick people because, that's wildly unethical for one thing, but also typically most people can smell BS and it doesn't work. So what I would tell you is, instead of trying to worry about how to game the system, I would tell you to build a better, stronger brand, and that what your real answer is, it's not just about better content. For most of you, if you're saying when you say you want to trick the algorithm, what you're talking about is you want more clicks. You want more clicks. That's not tricking the algorithm. You need to appeal to more people, and you need to attract more people. So the thing is, a lot of you need to think of audience growth through the psychology of attracting people who are meant for the content and meant for the niche, the lifestyle, the brand, the business. You need to think of it from a business and customer service standpoint. You also need to think about it from the standpoint of attraction when it comes to packaging and visuals. You need to think about visuals and you need to think about attraction. So what you need to ask yourself is, instead of worry about, I want to trick the algorithm. No, you don't want to trick the algorithm, because that's just called tricking the audience. You don't want to trick the audience. What you want to do is you want to attract a larger audience. So you need to say to yourself, my goal and desire as a content creator is to attract more of my people and make sure that they understand that my content is for them and that it's absolutely the exact thing that they're looking for. Okay, so you want to attract more people to your content. The start of that is you need to think about, what are they already attracted to? Where are they already giving attention? And what they're giving attention to displays what they are attracted to, what they are interested in, what is a priority for them. So those things are attracting them. Are they attracted to this content because it makes them intellectually curious? Are they attracted to this content because it aligns with their identity? Are they attracted to this content because they're attracted to the goal that the content promises or facilitates or aspires to? So what are they attracted to? Now, part of this is why, when it comes to getting clicks, I developed the Vibes framework. So the Vibes framework is something we teach in Awesome Creator Academy. So one, you have to be visually attractive in your thumbnails and in your branding. When we say informs via storytelling, what we're really talking about is being interesting at a glance. Is your content interesting at a glance? Is that title, when I read it, interesting immediately? Ooh, that's interesting. What? Tell me more. Is that visual? Oh, that's interesting. Wait, I got to stop and I got to look at that. And then when I look at it, is it visually attractive? So first of all, your thumbnails have to be visually attractive, and your thumbnails and titles have to be interesting at a glance. I should be able to scan your thumbnail, scan your title, and be interested in it at a glance. That is what drives clicks. There's no tricking the audience. There's no tricking the algorithm. It is, am I visually attractive enough at a thumbnail level to get you to stop scrolling in your phone? So first thing I have to do to stop you from scrolling is I have to be visually attractive in a thumbnail, and then I have to be interesting at a glance in a thumbnail and a title. And then if I'm going to have text, it has to be bold. And in terms of my colors, I have to have contrast, because those are things that are going to make me attractive and interesting at a glance and make you stop. I need eye-catching elements in order to be visually attractive as well. So I need things that you will pay attention to. Sometimes that's a logo. Sometimes it's an arrow. Sometimes it's a circle. Sometimes it is another element, like, for example, dollar signs, what have you. Then I need social proof. I need something that conveys authority, status, something that validates the idea in a way that's too good to ignore. So that's why Mr. Beast might have money in his videos. A lot of times in my thumbnails, I'll use the silver play button in my thumbnails. I will use a large number in my thumbnails and titles. I will use a desired outcome. And I'll show that I have that outcome in some way. So you have to consider, well, what is social proof that validates this idea and makes me stand out and makes me valuable to the audience, or makes me attractive to the audience? Where's the social proof that reinforces what attracted the audience? So again, there is no, tricking the algorithm. There's no, and it's not always better content. It's better packaging. Better packaging first. Better content later. Better packaging first. So you have to be attractive at the start in terms of the presentation and packaging. And you have to be interesting at a glance. And interesting at a glance is, I want to know the rest of that story. I want to know the rest of that story. And at a glance, I see enough of a tease to say, I'm interested. Tell me more. That's a nice tease. What else you got? Are you going to deliver on substance? Then that's where better quality content comes in. After the packaging is attractive, we stick around. Well, you got our attention. Now, can you keep our interest? You got our attention. Can you retain it? And then that's where your retention graph comes in YouTube with your analytics. Is you got the click, high click-through rate, low retention, you lose. High click-through rate, high retention. Now we're talking. Now that's not about, okay, now the algorithm pushes me more. It's about, no, you're proving that this group of people is attracted to this thing. The algorithm then says, I need to align more of your people with this content, because we did figure out that they are attracted to it. So if you think about your content based on what people are attracted to and interested in, and then you work on your packaging, and you work on the framing of your content, and you work on the topic and idea more, and say, they're interested in this. So that's where my topics and titles come from. They're interested in this. And then from a visual and packaging, they're attracted to this, and this demonstrates status to them. That's how you increase the number of clicks. That's how attention works in human beings in general. And that's why knowing psychology is probably the most underrated skill in content strategy, ideation, coaching, consulting. It's all about psychology. And so when you say, okay, I have to know what my target audience cares about, what my audience avatar. So based on demographics decide what is attractive to people. Demographics decide to some degree what is interesting to people, what represents status to them, what represents social proof, what represents authority. So the thing is, you have to know that demographically at that first layer. But then psychographically, when we get beyond, oh, male, female, this type of age, this type of income, we have to go, well, what do you care about? What do you care about? So psychographics, what are your values? What are your priorities? What is urgent to you? What turns you off? What disqualifies you? What makes you feel included? What makes you feel excluded? That's psychographics now. So now this gets into, well, what's the lifestyle of your audience avatar? Okay, we've got that they're American, they speak English, they're between the ages of 25 and 45. We get it. Now, who are they emotionally and intellectually? What do they care about? Are they a stay-at-home mom? Are they a remote worker? Are they an expat? What is it that makes them who they are? And then as a result of that, what do they care about the most? What do they care about the least? What are they familiar with? Who are their heroes? Who are their villains? Think about that. What unique challenges does your audience have that will immediately speak to their identity? What preferences they have that you need to be catering to? These become the important questions that help you define your audience. And only by defining your audience in these ways can you truly understand them. And the creator who understands their audience best and can cater to their preferences, cater to their challenges, know exactly how to read the room when it comes to them, that's the creator that can win. That's the creator that can get their attention and keep it. So you understand, this is why this becomes important, and this is what I focus on teaching. So that's why I do not believe in trying to game the system or trick the algorithm. We can just go right ahead and do something much more powerful. Truly understand our audience, and then use these powerful frameworks and mental models to make sure that we're able to quantify how we know and what we know about our audience, and then deliver for them. Then we deliver for them. So we got our good friend, World According to Briggs. Appreciate you, man. Psychology has been the key to my growth. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awkward says, how do you feel about gaming channels? I coach a bunch of Supercell gamers in my partnership with AMG. I do a bunch of consulting for them. I work with a lot of mobile gaming channels. Like I said earlier, one of my clients has been A-Drive, primarily Pokemon gaming, helped grow to 1 million subs. I've worked with other gaming creators. I've talked a lot about what gaming channels can actually do to overcome their weaknesses in monetization. When I'm on x.com, formerly Twitter, I talk about that a lot. So I'm very familiar with the gaming space. Regal Boxing says, I have some videos with higher retention and higher click-through rate, but the views just stopped. Is there a reason why for this? Maybe. Thanks for the advice. Look at your analytics. And what a lot of you need to do is not just focus on things like click-through rates and retention rates. What some of you need to look at is you need to look in your analytics at something very specific. And that specific thing that you need to be looking at is in your analytics is you need to be looking at, where is it? You want to usually go, well, you could technically do it through See More, but I prefer advanced mode. And you want to look at 90 days. And what you want to prioritize is not just looking at the views. What you want to do, and you might need to do this for the individual videos, is you want to go into advanced mode. You want to click on the plus. And then what you want to do is instead of views and average view duration by itself, what you really want to look for, and it's not going to be click-through rate. And it just depends on what you do here. You might have to do this for, what do you call it? What you might want to do is you might want to go to, it's not traffic sources you want to go to. Just give me a second. Here's what you want. You want to scroll down to here, and you want to get the number of impressions. And then the secondary metric you want is, so yeah, you want the first one to be impressions. And then you want the secondary metric to be views. And then what you want to do is you want to study and analyze. I don't really care as much about, say, the watch time or the subscribers at all. What I really care about is mostly, and so we can hide these other metrics because I don't really care about them right now. Some of you will. I don't. What I want to see in the chart is I want to see the intersection between the views on videos, and in this case, it's excuse me, doing that. And I want to see not just an impression click-through rate. I want to see the total number of impressions that a particular type of video got. So I want to see the impressions that a video got. And then we see the CTR. If it can give me the data on new viewers, and it can give me those impressions, I can kind of start to eyeball what I think is important at that point. You might want to consider, and you want to do this for 90 days. You do not want to do this for 7 days. You don't want to do this for 30 days. What you want to do is you want to try and get the following numbers. If you can, what you want to look at, and this is a little complicated, I understand, is you want to look at unique and versus new viewers. Potentially, you might want to look at returning viewers. And then what you want to start to do is you want to start to look at these numbers and then say, okay, and so this is how many viewers, human beings I got. Here's how many views I got. But then what were the impressions? What was the potential? What had the greatest potential when it came to my content? In this case, we're going to hide the watch hours because I don't think it's relevant to this conversation. But what you really want is you want to get an understanding for what was the opportunity. Here are the impressions. Here are the views. And then you might want to look at the individual videos and then say, am I still getting impressions for those videos today? And so I don't worry as much. The click-through rate is one thing, but I want to look at, if I had a raw opportunity with impressions and I just didn't get the clicks and the views, then I need to improve the packaging. But what topics and titles gave me the most opportunity? And then where did I come up short? So if we sort and we rank by impression data, we can see how many times YouTube served a video versus how many times people clicked on it. And we can say, well, I need better packaging somewhere if I want more views. And you can also see, well, how many of those were new viewers versus returning viewers? And so did this resonate with my existing audience more, or did this resonate with a new audience more? And what am I optimizing for? Do I want to grow? If I want to grow, I need new viewers. I need new blood in there, right? But also, do I want to alienate my existing audience? And so that's where looking at the returning viewers comes into play. And so you could look at a lot of these metrics. Sometimes I like to look at unique viewers. You could hide that if you want. But if we just go off of returning and new viewers and impressions, then we can kind of get a sense of the opportunity created for the video, and then whether it resonated with people who were already loyal to us or whether we managed to reach a new audience and have more growth potential. So that's what you'd want to look at. Then you'd want to adjust your content in terms of your topics and your packaging based on that. So I hope that by showing you guys this data, that's like, okay, here's the impressions. Impressions are opportunity. Views are response. So opportunity, response, opportunity, response. New viewers are growth potential. Returning viewers are consistency and loyalty from our existing audience on this topic. So the thing is, sometimes people that you already have, They may not be interested in this, but you could reach new people. And then with those new people, you could turn those new viewers into subscribers, because here on the returning side, it's people you already had, people who are already satisfied. So you have an opportunity to satisfy new people. As you can see, some content will resonate with your existing audience. Some will attract a new audience. And then you can see that sometimes something will get more impressions, but less views, which just means less people resonated with it. You missed the mark somewhere in what you communicated. That's fine. You can always try again to package it better or package it differently. And this is why sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So hopefully that data point helps a lot of you guys, and you can now better understand how to adjust your content. Gabe says, Roberto, I don't know why I haven't thought of this from an impressions equals opportunity standpoint, as opposed solely to CTR. Well, because YouTube culture is a great comment. YouTube culture and a lot of online YouTubers, the biggest YouTubers, they prioritize click-through rate because that's what most creators respond to and understand. So you're just like thinking in the way that the culture has taught you to think, the same way they think about things like view to subscriber ratio, instead of thinking about, wait a minute, how many of my new viewers am I turning into subscribers? So instead of view to subscriber ratio, screw that. Think about your conversion rate instead. Think about your view to subscriber conversion rate instead of your view to subscriber ratio. You shouldn't be expecting views just because of your sub count. You should be looking at your sub count to increase in proportion to the new viewers you're attracting. Think about it. If you're attracting new viewers, am I converting them fast enough to loyal subscribers? Think about that instead, because that's where growth comes from, right? New viewers turning into new subscribers. So we want that. The loyal active audience you have, your active audience is not your view to subscriber ratio. Your active audience is your unique viewers every 90 days. Your loyal, most loyal audience is your returning viewers for 90 days. So you want to look at those numbers instead, because those are individual humans. And so you want to look at the individual human number, not what that turned into views, because they could be viewing any of your content instead of just your latest content. The more content you make, it does to some degree dilute potential per se across your newest videos, which is not always a bad thing, because it also increases your odds and your opportunity. And the reality is, you don't get paid only on your latest upload. You get paid on the views on every single piece on your channel every single month. So as long as they're watching something from you, you're getting paid either way. And that matters because you need that money to have new opportunities, to invest back into the channel, to hire help, to be able to spend more time on ideas, spend more time with family, do the things you need to do to grow. You need the time back. You can only buy the time back with money. And the way you make money is they have to watch something. They don't have to watch your latest video. They have to watch something on your channel. So whatever they're watching is helpful to you. Support is support. If they watch new videos, if they watch old videos, it supports the content either way. So most creators are trained by the community and the culture to focus on you're only as good as your latest video, which is not true. Look at your channel as a whole. It doesn't matter what someone buys from your store. What matters is they're buying. It doesn't matter what they buy from the store. As long as they're in the store and as long as they're buying, you're still getting paid. If you're getting paid and compensated from your work, you have the capacity to grow because you can reinvest in whatever is growing you, making higher quality content, hiring a team, hiring help, getting resources, flying out for collaborations, buying new equipment, new products to review, whatever it is that you have to do, buying access to events that if you're covering events, like my friend Swell Entertainment, she has to cover events for her content and for her reactions. So you have to think of it from that perspective. And then opportunity from impressions means this is how much opportunity YouTube gave you. So you can improve the thumbnail or the title to improve the performance even after the fact. Old videos can get a second life. If they're evergreen videos, old videos get a second life. If you're getting impressions but not clicks, improve the title or thumbnail, and now you can maximize on your opportunity, because YouTube is giving you shots, but they're not landing. But now you can sharpen up your scope and you can land those shots. So that's why impressions matter a lot, because impressions are the opportunity that we need to get views. And what YouTube counts as an impression, and a lot of you don't know this, YouTube's definition of an impression is when your thumbnail is at least 50% visible for at least 1 second on a screen. So if your thumbnail is at least 50% visible for at least 1 second on a screen, then YouTube counts that as an impression. So even when that happens, you have to remember, one human being might see that same thumbnail from you 5, 7, 8 times before they decide to click on it. So if you do not have double-digit click-through rates, it's okay. It's okay if you don't have double-digit click-through rates, because almost all of us have seen a thumbnail 5, 6, 7, 8 times, not been in a position to click on it. Maybe you came across that thumbnail, you were looking at something to watch later. Maybe you even saved it for watch later because you can't click on it right now because you're in the middle of something, but you want to come back to it. Or, hey, you like that video, but right now you're looking for something else because you're in a mood or something, so you want to revisit it later. So the thing is, as a human being, as a viewer, as a consumer of YouTube, you could see a thumbnail 5, 6, 7, 8 times before you decide to click on it. So that means that thumbnail's click-through rate went down, their impressions went up, their click-through rate went down. So it's okay if you don't have a 10% click-through rate. That doesn't make it a bad video. It doesn't even mean that most people didn't respond to it. It could be a matter of timing too, that the timing for them. That's why knowing your audience's preferences and knowing their identity and knowing their demographic information becomes important, because then you can say, hey, my audience doesn't get home from work to a certain time. So that means that even if they see my video, they can't click on it because, hey, my audience demographically, they're not home yet. So they can't do anything about it. Or, hey, my audience only has this challenge when they have it, so they're gonna have to search for this video. That happened to my green screen video. My green screen video on Adobe had a really bad viewer ratio and click-through rate when I first launched that video. But over time, the video did extremely well, and I'll show you the data on that, and it's gonna make sense because even it doesn't matter that I have 600,000 subscribers. 600,000 subscribers does not give you an advantage in the YouTube algorithm or view distribution system. People think it does. Now, if you're famous, if you're going viral and you're famous, and if you're an entertainer, it can. But if you do anything else, product reviews, beauty, tech, fashion, doesn't work. And I'm gonna, but if you're like a prank channel, it could. But I'm gonna show you why. And I'm gonna show you in the data because this is actually really interesting. Because this video has 100,000 views now, but it didn't start with 100,000 views. And I'm going to show you what I mean and why evergreen content can really help you, and it can print money and save your channel too. But the initial thing with this video is this is a how to green screen video in Premiere Pro. Someone can only watch this video when they have the problem. Majority of people do edit in Premiere Pro for YouTube, but majority of people don't use green screen. So what does that mean? I have a smaller total addressable market than everyone doing video editing and then everyone using Premiere Pro, because you can be a video editor that's green screen, but if you don't use Premiere Pro, you can't watch this video. If you use Premiere Pro, but you don't do green screen, you can't watch this video. If you are confident in doing green screen perfectly already, you can't watch this video. So this video can only be watched by someone who has this problem only when they have the problem, only when they have the problem. The first day I do this video, it only gets, no matter how many subs I get, because of the problem the video solves. The first day I do this video, it only gets, I think, like 1,000 views or something, right? And then it trickles down, and then it's only getting like, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 views a day. But then slowly but surely, more people keep discovering the video, searching for it, and saying, oh, wow, this is the fastest video that's not a YouTube short that gets me in and out and gets me exactly what I need for solving this problem. And it's an evergreen video. So it took a year for this video to do well, but over the course of a year, it ended up getting 115,000 views. And its biggest traffic source is YouTube search. This external traffic source is Google. So that means that 90% of its views were from search, and it was over time. And now the video gets like 300 to 500 views every single day and continues to, because it's the most recent, up-to-date video in the shortest amount of time that's not a YouTube short to solve a specific problem in a specific software for a specific person. So it's an extremely narrow video, but it's evergreen, it's reliable, it still makes money, it still prints money, and it does help grow subscribers, not as much as other things, maybe because I need more tutorials, and it has an over 60% view duration. And that's because, again, I just try to solve the problem as quickly as possible for people. And so it's a strong video. And so that's why I learned from it. Now, if we go into the reach for this video and we analyze the impressions and click-through rate, this is a very, very high overall click-through rate. Sure, because it's almost double digits. Look at the impressions. This tells me the potential for the video. This tells me the potential for the video. So the video got 800,000 impressions, and then had a fairly high click-through rate. And then it got, in my mind, decent views, but it took a long time to accumulate those views. So you see, when we apply this idea, even when videos don't perform at first, they can still have a good shelf life and they have an opportunity. Do not give up on your videos, because a lot of times YouTube is not giving up on your video. So it depends on how well you know the audience. And again, I knew that on a long enough timeline that this audience would care about it. Now, what I will also show you is that this video did not get any views from my notifications. It got nothing from my notifications. 140 got nothing from my notifications. And in fact, having subscribers does not help me, because as you can see, very few of my subscribers have notifications turned on. 5.9% of my audience has notifications turned on and has all notifications. So the thing is, having subscribers doesn't help you that much. And by the way, I got most of my subscribers back in the day, back in the old days, back in my day. I got my subscribers before YouTube had a notification system, because I'm an OG YouTuber. I'm an OG YouTuber. So subscribers don't help me as an OG YouTuber, because I never told people to turn notifications on. And when YouTube changes the system and updates a new feature, you really do need to jump on those features and promote those features, or it does hurt you in the long run, because people who do use a feature when YouTube rolls it out or tells their audience to do the thing YouTube wants, if you make your audience do what YouTube wants, it will help you. If you don't, it will hurt you sometimes. So I wanted to show you guys that. I'm going to show you something else for this. The audience for this 100,000 views were non-subscribers. So if I go into the data and the analytics for this, the views, 96% of all of the views of this were non-subscribers. So over 100,000 views, 96% non-subscribers. So this becomes important. And this is why you always want to try to reach new audiences, and you need to go beyond your subscriber base, and you need to think about the long-term reach and potential of a video. You need to think about what traffic source the video is best optimized for. This video had a very poor click-through rate initially. Initially, click-through rate is poor. And then over time, 10%, 12%, 14%. See, even this average is over time, because this thing has had double-digit performance in terms of its CTR, its click-through rate, and so on and so forth. So you can see that. Now also, in terms of the impressions it got, its highest impressions is at launch, and it didn't perform well at launch. However, the impressions it did get, it started to perform with a tighter, more narrow audience over a longer period of time. So it doesn't matter that its peak spike of impressions underperformed. So even if you're worried about, oh, my video didn't perform in the first day, it didn't perform in the first week, it didn't perform in the first month, even with all the opportunity YouTube gave the video initially, the video, if I compare the way it handled the impressions opportunity, and then my secondary metric is the impressions, and then if I use the views as my secondary metric, what you're going to see and what you're going to find is that the impressions didn't fully correlate to me getting a lot of views. The maximum impressions only gave me 1,400 views, 34,000 impressions, 1,400 views. It's nowhere near even 10%. It's like maybe 4%. But even with less impressions, I started converting a higher percentage of those impressions into views over the long term of the video's lifespan. And it just performed better and performed better and performed better. So impressions are an opportunity. And just because the best opportunity is in the beginning, it's not the end of the road. And so you should not give up on your videos. I wanted to show you this, and no big YouTuber will show you this, but this is why you don't give up on a video. You don't give up on a video. If I just decide I'm embarrassed because this video didn't perform, I would never have the 100,000 views that this video got and the almost 500 subscribers that came from that, or the 700 and change in ad revenue that came from it on a 2-minute tutorial. So for those reasons, you should never give up on a video before it's time. Not if it's an evergreen video. So don't give up on a video. Impressions are potential, but they're not the only thing that matters. The credit solutionist, hey, how's it going? I've seen your content before. Wow, I tried shorts for a very short time in 2022. I didn't look at the data though, one blended bunch. And she says, I'm getting new comments from those shorts now though, which is sort of weird to me. Yep. So let's see. I'm going to catch up a little bit in the chat. The credit solutionist says, hey, Roberto, I thought reaching 10K subs would change my YouTube life, but here we are at 10.3K and not as much has changed in terms of views or AdSense. It takes more than that. What I find happens at 10K and what changes for a YouTuber is the confidence and the feeling of support and validation emotionally changes a YouTuber at 10K, emotionally changes a YouTuber at 50K, emotionally changes a YouTuber at 100K. So then the confidence is what changes everything else. So the validation of, oh, I've got 10K, 50K, 100K, that changes the confidence of the creator. And then that changes the creator's habits, actions, communication style. And then that transforms their life and their channel. So if the attitude doesn't change, nothing else does. I hope that makes sense. Awkward ask, how soon would you change the thumbnail once you recognize the impressions? Based on the traffic source it's best performing is what makes me decide that. So I decide everything based on traffic source. If it's the YouTube homepage where it's getting most of its views, I don't change the thumbnail first. I change the title first. If it's the YouTube homepage and I'm also getting good retention, it means that, okay, I'm getting good retention, but the views are not where I wish they would be. People are responding to it. They're staying on the video. That means I didn't clickbait. It means the expectation was met. So I'm like, okay, don't change the thumbnail right now. Maybe change the title. So on the homepage, my first instinct is to change the title, unless I know in my heart of hearts that the thumbnail was not my best. Okay. If it's suggested traffic that's getting me my views, though, if the traffic source for the for it is suggested, then I change my thumbnail instead of my title. And then if the peak traffic source for it is not that, and I know it's search, a lot of times what I'll do is I will look at the context of the thumbnail and title. And if it's search, I will either one, simplify the thumbnail, number one, or in the thumbnail and or the title, I will try to say, how can I double down on social proof or status in the thumbnail or title? How can I double down on social proof or status in the thumbnail and title and make that stand out stronger? I'll also look at competitors and look at what else in the ranking is in these thumbnails and why is it validating it. So what that looks like is if you're doing something with Microsoft Excel and it's search targeted, and you don't have the Microsoft Excel logo as one of the biggest elements in there, if it's teeny tiny, but your big old face and your shining mug is the most biggest important thing in the thing, then you made yourself more important than Microsoft Excel. And for the viewer, you're not more important than Microsoft Excel. So the thing is, it needs to be equal or bigger at that point. So the thing is, that's why if you're going to use logos in a thumbnail and you use your face at the same time, my rule is that you kind of want or need the logo you're using to be almost as big as your face, because there's a signal of what's important that's conveyed psychologically and subliminally when that happens. So the thing is, you can actually then kind of make yourself status-wise almost equally important to the thing that you're talking about. So that's fine. The thing can be more important than you as well, obviously. So you could go that route, but you could make it at least even. So a lot of people do not think about that. They've never been in graphic design, so they weren't taught visual hierarchy or visual authority and how visual authority or visual hierarchy is communicated. Size is one way that hierarchies are communicated. Size is one way hierarchies are communicated in terms of what is important and what matters. And another thing that communicates visual authority or hierarchy is position. So top to bottom, right to left. So those things matter. Matters what size of words, matters what color blocking your words in your text blocks. So when you do those things in your design, then it communicates a very specific thing to the viewer, whether they realize it or not. It does in their brain. Their lizard brain picks up on it. And then that could be the deciding factor on what they click on. But it could also change the context of what their expectations are. And then you could win the click, but you could lose them in retention. And if you lose them in retention, then the video underperforms. Yeah. Shark FinTech says, yeah, this is all why evergreen content is so important. Yeah, I agree. Sam Alexis says, question, I'd like to document my journey building an online business as a web designer, but I'm also a military spouse, mom of 3 with 1 on the spectrum. I also have an interest in beauty. Okay, so I think you have way too many topics and things, Alexis, and that's okay. So what you might consider is that your YouTube channel may not be the best vehicle for all of those things. Your YouTube channel might not be the best vehicle for all those things. I would say that maybe what I would do personally is this. I would build a lifestyle personal brand on Instagram and TikTok. On Instagram and TikTok, you could have the variety, Sam, you could have the variety and do all the mommy content and all the beauty stuff on Instagram and TikTok, and that be your personal brand. And then you could have your professional brand that scales your business. And you could do that with a vlog-like aesthetic and talk about your online and web design business as a female entrepreneur on YouTube, and then have that be this aspirational business / lifestyle brand in terms of, here is the type of woman I am, here's the kind of business owner I am, and this is what it does for my family. And that be your narrative, and it's filmed in a vlog-like aesthetic, but it's education and aspirational content. And it still focuses on the business owner, the small business owner, the work from home parent. It focuses on these things: productivity, remote work, working from home, running your own business, being a go-getter, being a hustler. And so the thing is, it's entrepreneur lifestyle content that educates and empowers people that relate to you. And that's the YouTube channel. And you don't intersect with the beauty or the mommy content there. You do use the YouTube community tab to let people know that if they want to have a more intimate look at your life, they can follow you on Instagram and TikTok. And then on Instagram and TikTok, you now make this lifestyle content and you reference the fact that you do all of this while running your online business. And if they want to know how they can do that too, then they can follow your journey on YouTube. Now you have cross-promotional intersectionality within your brand, and now you have the capacity to scale your platforms. So in your case, instead of a podcast, probably, at least for now, instead of a podcast for you, and instead of x.com/Twitter, your platform scale will look like an intersection between YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok instead. And instead of a podcast, you might do live streaming. So you might do streaming instead of podcasting, and instead of x.com, you'll do TikTok, and you'll also do Instagram. What this will do is this will allow you on Instagram and TikTok to take lifestyle brand deals that are direct consumer products that target women and mothers. And then you have that. And then with the YouTube channel, you'll be able to do higher, more lucrative brand deals and get the maximum amount of ad revenue by talking entrepreneurship, which will allow you to do affiliate links with software as a service products and make monthly recurring revenue, do long-term contracts as a brand ambassador for software and services and professionals, and do high contracts with brands, maybe $50,000 a year contracts with individual brands, some UGC, some NIL. And so maybe you're making $5,000 a month with a brand here, $3,000 a month for another brand. So you could do $100,000 in brand deals with 4 or 5 relationships with brands with 6 to 12 month contracts, set up renewals on that. And so the YouTube channel should be business focused for that reason. It's business focused, but with a vlog-like lifestyle aesthetic to it and an aspirational message behind it. And so that appeals to the demographic of people who are more aligned with you. And so then that maximizes the revenue potential of the YouTube channel. But then for the female lifestyle components and mommy lifestyle components, that's where Instagram and TikTok allow you to do a completely separate, different set of brand deals with completely different relationships. But you do 2 or 3 of those brands as long-term partnerships. Now you have even more brands on deck. And now you've segmented these aspects of your whole life, and you put them in the best vehicles possible, monetize the best way possible. And now you also have cross-promotion opportunity, because you can tell them that from YouTube, you tell them, hey, if you want to know me more personally, learn more about me and how I manage my family and me as a woman, you can follow my journey on Instagram and TikTok, where I show you a deeper look at my life outside of my business. Then the cross promotion goes the other way. Hey, if you like this lifestyle and you want to be able to afford it, you need to build an online business so you can have the options and freedom that I do. Learn about that on my YouTube channel. So now you have the intersectionality and cross promotion aspect. You now have segmentation in your brand, and now you've literally doubled and maximized your brand deal opportunities and affiliate marketing opportunities by creating the best vehicles possible for this business model. And so this is why it's important to be cross platforms and to be platform agnostic. But it's also not just about repurposing the same content across platforms. That's not always the right strategy. Sometimes the right strategy is to do audience segmentation and then to use your personal brand and encompass it across different experiences on different platforms, but intentionally, and then use cross promotion, and then use that to scale both or all or many even. And then the reality is all of these are vehicles for your own email newsletter where you own the relationship with your audience through your email newsletter. And then you build an online membership and community for mommypreneurs who are trying to do it all, who are trying to run an online business and run a family, or want to do both or have both. And then you incorporate them into an online membership platform where you share those experiences, those insights, and you make products and things that cater to those women. And then you build that into a multiple six-figure business over a period of time through building a larger email list. Let's say 10,000 to 50,000 people on your email list from your aggregate audience across your three major platforms of YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. You grow a 10,000, 50,000 email list. The email list now can also be a vehicle for sponsorships. If you build it with ConvertKit, which I think I've linked in the description of this video. If I haven't, I'll post the link in the chat and I'll update in the description. Use that. And then, okay, you're getting, if you're using ConvertKit, ConvertKit has ad revenue and it has a built-in sponsorship network. So you can monetize it there. You can sell your own membership through it. And then, so that's the funnel that grows the business further. You can sell your own products. You can do the affiliate links, double dip on the brand deals with the affiliate links. Now you've holistically monetized. Now, even your offline platform that you own, that isn't YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, that you own, can be a six-figure entity, and you have your own traffic source now because you have a direct relationship with your audience, even without social media to siphon from at that point. So then this is how we build a true online creator business and brand ecosystem. And this is how you integrate sometimes multiple aspects of your personality. YouTube is not always the best vehicle for that. If you are a multi-passionate person, if you're one of these multi-hyphenate people, I hate to break it to a lot of you, YouTube is not the best vehicle for every passion you have to live on one channel. And the answer is not always to build multiple YouTube channels. Sometimes it's to say, here is the aspect of my personality that YouTube best monetizes and best serves. And then here is the aspect of my personality that Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok best serve and best monetize. And here's how all of them best serve me having a direct relationship with my audience in terms of selling to them directly and having direct access to them through an email list and a Discord server. And so that's my long-winded answer to Sam that I think I can just use as a teachable moment for the rest of you of why I think about this and why I made this particular slide about how to scale your platform impact. And this is also what I'm incorporating into the concept of being platform agnostic, and why I believe in going to every platform and thinking about what is, has this platform the best vehicle for opportunity for me, and what opportunities are optimized for this platform versus another platform versus another platform. And then how do I get to a point to where I'm independent at some point of what the platforms provide, and I can take advantage of the platforms instead of them benefiting more from me than I do from them. And so that's our ultimate goal as creators. Our ultimate goal as creators is to maximize our own advantage using what the platforms provide. Yeah, this was like kind of a sample of, this is a little bit of a sample for like anyone who's ever doubted, like, you know, oh, does coaching work? What insights could a coach possibly have? Oh, if they didn't do my niche, what do they know? If you've ever had that feeling, I understand, but I think I just gave you an insight into how a high level person who's done it, how their mind would work, how they would, consider and think about different monetization strategies, how they would think about platforms. There's a lot more I definitely think about brand deals that would go beyond this in terms of approaches for something like this and how you could do it. And I've talked with and I've worked with a lot of clients around this exact thing, but there's also the tech stack layer, and why I say, okay, well, you're going to use this technology to do this thing. Primary example, why did I say ConvertKit and why use that for your email list? because most people don't know that ConvertKit has the best monetization options for an email list because of their sponsorship network. When you grow enough email subscribers, you get to be part of their sponsorship network. And so they have a sponsorship marketplace. So since ConvertKit has a built-in sponsorship marketplace, that's like a good incentive. Since they have their own built-in ad revenue platform, and you can monetize your email list with ads the same way you monetize YouTube with ads, oh, well, that's definitely a good reason. The fact that they have a built-in tip jar, that's a good reason. They're not a sponsor. I'm an affiliate of theirs, but they're not a sponsor. But I use them, and I've used them for years, and now you know why. It's because, well, I get these perks and extra monetization systems by using them. So I use them because, oh, well, I can monetize doing this, I can monetize doing that, and it's something that I don't have as an option with their competitors. So, oh, I'll go with that. So I'll go for it for the monetization options. Oh, the automation, this, that, the next, and the third. So the thing is, you have to know which tools also best serve your creator business. And so I wanted this tool because it gave me another monetization opportunity that I might not have had. So that was a big selling point for me. That was just personally a big selling point for me. One of the other things I would say about your tech stack is, okay, what's the best vehicle for my online coaching and courses and membership if I'm someone like Sam? So for someone like Sam, if she's running an online business YouTube channel, but then also a personal brand on Instagram and TikTok, one of the things that becomes important is, okay, funneling all those people back to her own membership website. Why follow someone back to your own membership website? Why not just use YouTube for free for $0 up front? Because as your membership website grows, let's say your membership website got to the point to where you're making $10,000 a month on your membership website. If you do your membership on YouTube, and I have nothing against YouTube, but if you do your membership on YouTube, YouTube takes 30%. So if you build a membership to 10,000, YouTube takes 30%. Now you're at 7,000. Okay. And you say, oh, well, that's great. That's not too bad. Well, you're self-employed. You're going to pay self-employment taxes plus state taxes plus federal taxes. And if you live in New York and California, you're going to pay city municipal taxes on top of that. So the thing is, you're probably going to be taxed at least another 30%. So now 30% of $7,000 after YouTube takes its cut is going to be at least $2,100 you're going to be taxed. So now all of a sudden you went from making $10,000 to making $4,900. So now between YouTube taking a 30% cut, then you paying all your government taxes, including self-employment taxes, you actually are not making even half of the money that your members paid you. So if you do a membership website, you pay fixed cost instead of a percentage. I'd rather my cost be fixed than my cost increase with my revenue. So I don't want my cost to increase with my revenue. The problem is if I pay $0 for something, then I'm splitting my revenue. So by paying YouTube $0 for memberships and $0 for this and $0 for that, but giving up 30%, I'm giving up 30%. Then I'm being taxed on what's left of that, probably at another 30%. Now I have less than half of the money that was due to me. So I'm better off paying up front for something. As long as I'm profitable, I'm better off paying up front for my own membership website so that as my income increased, my costs stay the same. So my profit goes up. And now you know why. Because if YouTube takes 30% and then taxes take 30%, you're not left with half. You're about at half. So that's no bueno. That's no bueno. We don't like that. So we build our own membership website in this thing, and that's why you need to know your the tech that you're going to use. Like I said, the one that I use is Kajabi for that. I'm going to give you guys a trial link to Kajabi in the chat. I've also updated the description. Then I'm going to give you guys a link for ConvertKit so that if you want to start your email newsletter, you can do that with ConvertKit. And one of the reasons you want to do that is because of their creator network that grows your newsletter for you by getting referrals, their ad revenue network that does a 75-25 split on ad revenue. YouTube does a 55-45 on ad revenue. ConvertKit does 75-25 on ad revenue. And then there's the sponsorship network. Then there's also the fact that they have their tip jar so that you can get paid from your newsletter from donations. And I believe that you keep 95% of that. So for monetization on your newsletter, I'm going to recommend ConvertKit. I just dropped Kajabi and ConvertKit in the chat for you. It's also in the description if you refresh the page for YouTube. So that's there. So that's part of the tech stack for the online business side if you guys decide to go that route. Like I said, I have nothing against YouTube, and some people, all they can afford is $0. But if YouTube does something for you for $0, you get 30%, then you're taxed on what's left. And then you also had your expenses. So you can easily end up only keeping half to a third of your money if this kind of thing goes on a little too long. That's why I like to start to try to do some off-platform things. I do off-platform things. So I'm like, okay, what can I do where I'm not splitting my revenue with YouTube to where I'm not splitting like almost 50% or 30% of my money, even with the other platforms, what can I do? So if I own the whole thing, even if I have cost, I can scale and reduce my cost to being 10%, 1%, 5%, something more manageable, something less than 30. So that's just a thought of the business side. We'll talk a bit more about that on Monetization Mondays. Everything Pie says, Roberto, what do you think about faceless videos? Thanks for sharing. Faceless videos can be fine. A lot of my earliest videos were all tutorials where I recorded on the screen. So I don't know why there's like even a question of whether faceless videos are okay. Faceless videos have always been on YouTube. There have been people who've been doing software as faceless, anime, music videos, anime TV show reviews, movie and TV show reviews, commentary. People have been doing faceless videos forever. It's not really some new thing. It's that more people are doing it because the tools are better and cheaper. AI plays a role in that. But faceless channels have always been around, but people saw that the biggest YouTubers showed their face, so they became less popular with some people. Video essays, been around forever. Commentary, been around forever. Documentaries, been around forever. There are plenty of YouTubers who never show their face. The most famous YouTubers always used to show their face. That's why the idea of being a faceless creator back then never jumped off, because there was a culture of fame, clout chasing, wanting to be a celebrity, wanting to be recognized. People really wanted that. So they showed their face on camera. There are plenty of reasons to do a faceless channel. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's also not some new thing. Star Wars Kingdom says, hey, Roberto, I'm a Star Wars creator. Oh, congrats. Nice. And my what if content performs better than lore videos on my channels. Is Star Wars broadly niched down enough, or do I need to focus more on the what if content? If the what if content is performing more, I would continue to make maybe 50 to 80% of your content what if content. However, lore videos could just do well over the long run. Both types of content are evergreen content. You might satisfy existing audience with a lot of the what if content. I would want to figure out for you specifically whether new users or returning users are watching the what if content. Who's watching the what if content? Is it more new users or is it more returning users? And then what about the lore content? Is that new people or is that returning people? So the thing is, for a lot of you, for your content strategy, a lot of you need to figure out what you can make that satisfies your existing audience so you can continue to get consistent views and reliable money. But then for a growth standpoint, you need to figure out what gets you the most new audience. So the thing is, you need balance. So then you need to figure out, okay, I need this much new content. Maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 80% new. So I need new people coming in. So maybe I cater to finding the new people by making this type of video, because it brings in new people all the time. And if I convert enough of them to subscribers, then my channel grows in subscribers. Subscribers equal status, but views equal value, and views equal money, but subscribers equal status. Status is then used to get the appeal of brands. It also is used to stand out in your niche. It's used to get collaborations. It's used to get pre-selection bias on like, oh, I'll watch from a big YouTuber instead of a small YouTuber. So the thing is, I'm not saying subscribers don't matter. They don't matter algorithmically. They matter psychologically. And they matter in terms of marketing, because subscribers equal status, but viewers equal value, subscribers equal status. Understand the difference. So viewers equal value, subscribers equal status. Subscriber count, from a status standpoint, lets you stand out in your niche, lets people more likely to talk about you, makes people likely to react to you, makes people likely to collab with you, makes sponsors likely to recognize you. So status matters. We're just, we're human beings. We care about status. So subscriber growth comes from status, but subscribers can only come from reaching new people. So look at in your advanced analytics, what is attracting new viewers versus returning viewers? You still need a returning viewer strategy and to make enough content to satisfy people and keep them coming back. But you also need new viewer adoption for growth. So you need a growth strategy and you need growth content, but then you need maintenance content. Okay? And so these are the things that I like to teach people about. This is what I do in my one-on-one calls with people. This is what I do in Awesome Creator Academy with our members, is we talk deeply about these type of things. And then we talk about what works for specific creators. Now, one of the things I also believe in is that you can use cross-platform intersectionality, cross-platform promotion even, to make people aware of you. Increase awareness of you and your brand drives up people searching up for you, talking about you. You can also create status for yourself in other platforms outside of YouTube. And then as long as your name is out there, then all roads lead back to YouTube at some point. So just getting your name up and increasing your status using other platforms can also be helpful. This can also be helpful. You also can have more collaboration opportunities that can grow you if you can create status in another platform or in multiple platforms. Then you can connect with people in those platforms that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. And then you can use that status and transfer that through collaborations to an opportunity to grow your YouTube channel, which no one talks about. No one talks about the importance of doing that. So someone may not know you from YouTube, but they can know you somewhere else. And so if you can pull from relationships and status in another platform like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and then that can convert to a relationship that you can leverage in terms of mutual benefit in collaborations, content, or even behind the scenes stuff, then it can turn into opportunities for your YouTube channel. You can even reach brands this way as well. And then you can have a package where on the sponsorship side, you could always package up something where you promote in YouTube and Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. And then there's more money to be made. So it'd be things like that. Cool Breeze says, Roberto, what would be your strategy for a person who wants to go from short form to long form content? I actually would consider them to some degree very much different audiences. And what my strategy would be is instead of linking your YouTube shorts to a long form video, I wouldn't interrupt somebody who clearly wanted to watch shorts. I'd give them more of what they want. And then if I get them binge watching enough shorts, it equals out to them watching a long form video in watch time anyway. If I get you to binge watch 3 shorts in a row or 6 shorts in a row, it's just like getting you to watch a long form video. It might even be better. It might be easier to get you to watch 3 shorts in a row, 5 shorts in a row, and get 5 minutes out of you that way than to try to convince you to watch 5 minutes of a 12-minute video. So I might as well just keep you on shorts. And what'll happen algorithmically from there is if I get you to binge watch shorts, it'll send a signal to YouTube that when you are already watching long form content, meaning when you're not watching short form and then you're watching long form content, if I make long form content about topics you care about, I'm more likely to be seen by you in the homepage when you do want to find long form, when you do need to show up in next video up or suggested videos. I'll get the traffic later. So you guys' strategy, y'all are doing it wrong when it comes to shorts and long form. And I get it. I haven't made the video about this, but I've taught this to my clients and it's working for them. I have some gaming clients this is working fantastic for. I have some creators who play Clash Royale, and we're also abusing the vertical live streaming portion of the algorithm there. And what I found is this: if you get people to binge watch short after short after short from your channel, you pull them out of the shorts scrolling feed, use the related videos link. And again, we practice this on these other channels, and they're mostly entertainment channels. I believe this will work for education channels, but this mostly worked on entertainment channels when we did it. A lot of it gaming or trivia or Star Wars or entertainment, Marvel Comics when we did this. So what we did was they binge watch shorts videos, right? And we of the same creator. We get them out of the shorts feed. We get them to stop scrolling. They're like, oh, related video. Yep, click. And then all of a sudden they're down a rabbit hole. And so if we send them down a rabbit hole for shorts and they're satisfied for shorts, when they're done with shorts later at some other point in their YouTube experience, that day, that week, whenever, when they're watching long form content that we make content about, and they're already watching long form content, we would then get recommended in the algorithm. We would get recommended as the next up video, or hey, watch this, suggested, or scrolling through their homepage, our thumbnail will show up more because we previously performed with them and got them to stay on YouTube for a long time. But now we're switching formats, but YouTube's like, they're not watching shorts right now. Now they're already watching long form videos. Now we will show them a long form video from you. Now we will, and if you want to test this as a viewer, to prove this, here's what you would do. See, it's not going to be as easy to prove as a creator, but you can prove it as a viewer. If you go and you binge watch someone's short form content and you watch 5, 6 videos from them in a row of YouTube shorts, and you watch those shorts all the way to completion, you even loop a couple of them. Later, when you close the YouTube app and you open the YouTube app again, watch some long form videos. Then go to your YouTube homepage, like on desktop or something, and you'll start seeing the long form videos. If that creator that you watch shorts from makes long form videos, you're going to start getting recommended their long form videos on the YouTube homepage now because you binge watch a bunch of shorts from them. But now you start watching other long form videos. YouTube says, oh, you're ready to watch something long now. Hey, that creator you like, they made some long form content. Wouldn't you like to see it? So YouTube knows what mood you're in. YouTube says, you're watching shorts right now, don't interrupt you watching shorts. You're watching long form right now, don't interrupt you watching long form right now. So YouTube knows what kind of mood you're in based on your previous behaviors and what you like and your taste, and it tries to cater to that. So if you know that happens, then you have to start conditioning behavior in your viewers. You condition the behavior in your viewers by saying, when you are in the mood for something, I will only give you that thing, and I'll give you as much of it as you can stand. Here you go. And this is why quantity does matter. Quantity of enough quality. This is why I don't believe in making, quality over quantity, knock it out of the park, make a banger every time. Good enough is good enough if I show up every day. If I show up every day consistently, somebody who knocks it out for you once in a while, they're not going to stand the test of time all the time unless they're the greatest of all time. If you're Mr. Beast, if you're Mark Rober, you can do that. Most of us mere mortals and peasants ain't that special. So what we got to do is be consistent. We have to be consistent because we're not, gods. We're not these outlier, anomaly, superhero creators, and we don't got unlimited budget. We ain't got Hollywood friends to be in our collabs. We are just peasants out here. So, you know what we can do? We can show up all the time, and we can make it a good time when we do. So that's what we do. We show up every day, and it's a good time. And then good enough is good enough. So good every day is better than great every month. Good every day beats great every month. But good every other week doesn't. See, good every other week doesn't beat great once a month. But good every day, good every other day, good 3 times a week, that beats better than great once a month. See? It doesn't always feel that way. But again, if you're a normal working class creator, don't judge yourself by the fact you ain't competing with millionaires. It's okay. So, yeah. Biggest thing is you got to know your audience. You got to know your audience. And you have to really understand how they operate. What do they watch and what format do they watch during what times a day? How much availability do they have? How much money do they have to spend? What brands align with them? What brands can they afford to shop with, and why? Is it okay to sometimes do stuff for the top of your audience versus the majority of their audience? How can you balance these things out? How much content can you make that is short form that will reach the attention of new people? How much maintenance content then you can make that's regular long form videos? How much super community driven content via the live streams? What does your lifestyle accommodate with this? What's the balance? Those things become incredibly important. And then not just, oh, what's going on in my life, but then think about the viewer. Think about how you add value to the viewer. How do I put the audience first? What am I doing? Oh, am I investing in this because of my ego, or am I investing in this because it makes the audience's experience better? What am I doing? So you have to really narrow in on these things. It can be hard sometimes to see the forest for the trees. I understand that. Yeah. So you just do the best you can with what you have where you are. That's the most you can do. And what you do is you incrementally improve what that is. This is the best I can do right now, but I'm going to keep getting 1% better every day. This is the best I have right now, but I am working toward having more. Oh, this is how I'm showing up right now. I'm doing that consistently, but just watch me. I won't be showing up the same way a year from now. It'll be better. And so that's the kind of thing you need to put in terms of your mindset to actually succeed. Let's see. I'm just catching up on some questions. I'm making sure I didn't miss any super chats from y'all. Appreciate you, Justin. Rob B says, Roberto, how do you feel about A/B testing thumbnails? I think that doing it beforehand can be good, but it also is a risk. If you don't think the thumbnails are bangers, doing the A/B test, you have a risk, because if one drastically underperforms, you did sacrifice upfront views to learn that lesson. So it's rough. But on the other hand, you also would know whether you can rely on your instincts or not. And that can be a lesson that's worth it. So it really just depends on what your priorities are. John Constance says, reality and theory and practice. Question, Roberto, how long do you consistently do a niche before you give up on it? So that's a good question. I think it depends on if you've honestly developed any skill in that thing to begin with. Because if you know that you're just still learning and you don't have any skill and you have no experience, you might have to give it a year or two because you never built up any skill. And you don't have, if you've never been a content creator before, if you're still learning all the technology, if you're still learning how to be confident on camera, if you're still learning every part of being a content creator, then the problem might not be the niche. The problem might still be you. It might still be a skill issue, right? So back in our Ikigai for Creators framework, okay? And this is why I bring this up. This could still be a skill issue, right? Because we have passion, skills, monetization, and market, right? The overlap of passion and skills is your mastery. It's your ability to serve the market. And then the monetization and the market size is the market fit. So are you aligned here? Are you aligned to the opportunity? Does your ability align to opportunity? So the thing is, if you are in a niche and you feel like you're not growing, you feel like it's not performing, you feel like you're not getting anywhere, you have to be honest with yourself and figure out whether this is a skill issue. And what that could mean is, if you have no experience video editing, then this thing that you're delivering on may not be a good enough experience yet. So it may not be anything more than you're like, no matter what niche you went to, If it's a skill issue, it may not matter what niche you go to, because if you're not good on camera, if you can't write good outlines or scripts, if you can't do good delivery, if you can't make good thumbnails, if you can't make good titles, if you're not good at ideation, then it doesn't matter what niche you go to if the skill issue is not addressed. There is no niche where you can have no skill and then still serve the market. You see? So that's why I do Workshop Wednesdays. And that's why, for me, one of the most important aspects of YouTube is not strategy first. It's actually skills first. It is no strategy is going to make up for being bad at lighting, being bad at audio, being bad at editing, being bad at speaking, being bad at planning, being bad at thumbnails, being bad. There's not a strategy that's going to overcome zero skill. There's not a strategy that's going to overcome 10 out of 100 skill. You see what I mean? So the thing is, the foundation of YouTube success is not strategy. It's actually skill. And then with those skills, you can properly deploy a strategy that says, here's the best opportunity to monetize those skills. Here's the market those skills best serve. But to be able to get a high level of skill, I believe you need at least a base level of passion, so that as you build your skill, you can endure sucking at something and have the desire and the energy and the fuel from the passion to get better and get better, even when you're not getting validated for it. Because when the market is not validating you, when the audience is not validating you and supporting you, where's the energy going to come from to improve your skill? It's not coming from the outside, so it has to come from the inside. So the inside, the internal, is passion. And another internal is skill. The external is monetization and the audience, aka the market. So the thing is, how are we validated? You feel respected when someone pays you for something you do. When someone pays you for something you do, it validates that you're good at it. When someone gives you attention for the things that you do, it validates that you're good at it. So that's the external world. Now, our internal world is our skills that we work on, our self-satisfaction, our desire to see our own improvement, and then our passion and enjoyment for the process that we're going through, even when we suck at it. In the absence of validation from other people, in the absence of compensation for what you're doing, you have to at least be passionate enough to endure so that you can improve. And then through improvement, you will be rewarded with attention and compensation. So I hope that makes some sense. I know this is a long answer to this question, but I think it's a deeper understanding of the core issue here and why skills matter and why we have to address our skill gap first before we worry too much about our strategy. Our strategy should come after we identify, here's what we're passionate about, so we have the energy to do this, so we're not bored with it, so we don't give up, so that we don't need other people's approval first to keep going. So we need passion so we can keep going without people's approval. But we can't be delusional. We have to be able to improve and have some skill. So then, as a result, we can achieve mastery at some point if we keep going. If we can achieve mastery, money will follow and the market will follow, because people are attracted to someone who has mastery. Because through mastery, we can attain that skill. Skill can elevate us to a point where we're deserving of status, because we've now, through our skill, been able to acquire social proof. And then that makes us attractive enough to grow the market or bring the market to us and attract the market. And then we can deliver value to the market because we've proven ourselves, and therefore we're going to be monetized. So that's where the substance of passion becomes important. It's why I don't believe in following your passion. I believe that you need to direct your passion. I believe that you need to understand your passion. I think you need to harness your passion instead of following it. I think that you need to use your passion as fuel for your endeavors. I think you need to put your passion to purpose. I don't think you should follow your passion over a cliff. So I don't think you should follow your passion, meaning keep doing a niche just because you're passionate about it. You have to develop your skill. You have to address the skill issue. Then once you do the skill issue, and you close the skill gap and you can deliver value, delivering value then means that the possibility exists to reach and serve that market, that audience, and to be compensated through monetization, as long as the thing is monetizable. All right, so do we get it? I hope we do. I hope we get it, because I think this is really important. I think this is one of the most important things that I tend to teach. And I think it's massively overlooked in creator education. I don't think nearly as many people talk about this. And I think that if you can put this into practice for yourself and say, okay, here's how this applies to me. If you can apply this to yourself, this will give you clarity. This will give you a vision for your brand, your channel, and you can double down and know that there's a reason to expect this on a long enough timeline to work. Yep. Lois says he's 100% right about skill versus strategy. Yep. Silver Eagle Gamer says, can uploading daily gaming videos help my gaming channel? I would add commentary and my personality to my videos. I would also like to monetize as fast as possible. So with gaming channels, what you have to overcome is the fact that the market of gaming is saturated with low-hanging fruit. So gaming suffers from a very particular problem. Gaming suffers from content that is low effort, low value, low quality, low consistency most of the time. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that you disqualify yourself from low-hanging fruit. This becomes very difficult if you're doing daily gaming content, but you're not a high-level gamer. Like a lot of the gamers I work with, some of them are ranked. They're ranked gamers. A lot of them work in esports and are in orgs or teams. And so they compete in ladder. They do trophy pushing. They are competitive gamers. So as competitive gamers, when they show up daily, it matters to people because, one, they're able to put in a higher level of effort and ability and demonstrate social proof. Because they're experienced, the quality of their content is higher and it's much, much better. And then they have the resources to make it consistent. They have thumbnail designers, they have editors, they have good computers. So they have, and then their content has high value because then as a pro gamer, people respect them and people know that it will be a good quality video, but also that they're going to see a good performance from them. So their expectations are high and they're met because it takes a lot of effort to be a pro gamer. They put effort in everything due to keep their ranking and keep their status. They have value to bring because they were able to get to that level of status. So their value is not in question. And they have the experience and ability and resources to create high quality content and be consistent. So when a pro gamer does daily content, even when they're a new YouTuber, but they're a pro gamer, if you're a pro gamer, but a new YouTuber, then your channel grows because of the high effort, high consistency, high quality, and high value that you bring. If you're not a pro gamer and you're a casual gamer, the market is saturated with low-hanging fruit from casual gamers. You also don't have a way to stand out in the market because you don't have status. You don't have social proof. So the thing is, this can't help you by proxy without overcoming a lot of those issues in gaming. And this is the general advice and the general problem with why gaming feels impossible to grow and why everyone's just looking for hacks and tips and tricks and all this other stuff. And it doesn't work for them most of the time because the thing is, the audience has become so accustomed to being disappointed that it's hard to give somebody new a chance if they don't have something clearly of high effort and high value to offer. So the way that a creator overcomes this is by doing, to some degree, what YouTuber and gamer Onion Butter did or what Enter the Unknown did when they grew. Now, those of you who follow me on x.com, formerly Twitter, know that I was following what was happening with Onion Butter before he even had 20,000 subscribers, and that I've been following him since his second video on YouTube. I think he has like 30 or 50 videos on YouTube now, and he's at 127 subscribers. And what he did, and I talked about this in, I think, 1 or 2 of my videos, is like 30 videos. And what he did was eventually he got smart and he focused on, all right, Hitman is what's performing for me. Okay, I'll only make these videos for the most part about Hitman. Now he's branching out a little bit because now he's figured out how all this works and what making storytelling gaming content can look like with challenges. And so, prime example, can you accidentally kill the entire map in Hitman? That's a curiosity-driven video to where you're like, wait a minute, how I beat Hitman 1 without anyone seeing me, even for 1 frame. Okay, you want to click on that because you want to see if it's possible. You want to see if he's full of crap. You want to see if he faked it or modded it. There's a curiosity factor. I beat Hitman 3 without anyone seeing me. I beat Hitman, no weapons, no clothes, no items. That's like a massive outlier challenge. It requires a high level of effort. So how is he winning? Even when the thumbnails aren't perfect. Some of the thumbnails are perfect. Some of them are hit or miss. So how is Onion Butter doing it? How is Onion Butter succeeding? It's because the titles of his videos already tell you that this is high effort content, high level of difficulty, right? So high level of difficulty. The value is the curiosity surrounding that high effort of, can he really do this? So it's the curiosity factor is the value proposition of, is this real? Is this legit? Oh, or is that technically true? Or what's the loophole? What's the catch? What's the scheme here? So the curiosity in his case is the main value proposition. So high effort, high value. Just watching someone play a game is worthless, to be honest, for most people. For most people, just watching someone play a game, why would I watch you? I can play the game myself. You're not a pro player. You're not doing anything special. I can play the game myself. But what I can't do is beat Hitman 3 without killing anyone because I'm not that good. So wait a minute, it's interesting. There's value there. There's effort there. It's a higher effort than I myself can make. Okay, and then he produces the video, and the video is well shot, well edited, and the audio is superb. He's using a good microphone. So it's a video that I can get through in quality and not want to click away from because it's not, bad audio, bad this, bad that, whatever. It gets to the point, and then, okay, this is legit. So then you watch it all the way through. And then he was consistent enough, and consistency was not only uploading videos often enough, but uploading videos with similar value, similar high effort, similar quality. And so he kept delivering on that. And so he kept delivering on that over and over. Now the effort, value, and quality was high enough to where he didn't have to crank out videos every week. He could do 2 in a month as his cadence. Now I recommend most people need to do 1 to 2 videos a week, if not more. Some people, if they're going crazy and they can do a high level of performance in a game, then they can manage this. So what his content does, even when it's not Hitman and he tries to stray away from it, is he's still looking at the highest effort feat possible. So if you're going to do gaming content, my advice is high effort, impossible content, impossible challenges. Can I do this without doing this? And so this is Onion Butter, and he's just a more recent example. About 2 years ago, there was a YouTube channel that started off a trend called Enter the Unknown. And it started off a trend in the Pokemon community. Not quite at 100,000 yet, but that's because he keeps doing Nuzlocke content, even though it's not his best performing content. It's fine. Sometimes people just want to make what they want to make. But I'm going to show you their most popular videos. And this actually has the opposite issue to some degree of Onion Butter. One, this creator stopped being consistent, and you can see the massive hit they paid, the price they paid. They'd be at 100,000 subscribers. This creator just needed to keep going in this direction and never stop. So this is a cautionary tale of what happens when making what you want to make gets in the way of what's in the best interest of your channel. So 4 years ago, this creator went with, can you beat Pokemon Fire Red using the exact team that Ash used? Can you beat Emerald using the exact team that Ash used? What if Ash woke up on time? Can you beat Pokemon Pearl using the exact team? And so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. And eventually, I think, can you beat Pokemon without using items? Can you beat Pokemon with the worst 6 Pokemon? So on and so forth. They should have just kept going in this direction, and they'd be at 100,000 subscribers instead of 95K. They'd be at, potentially, if they kept going and were consistent over the last 4 years, they might have made it to 1 million subscribers. But this creator took almost a year off at certain points and also decided to stray from this content, and then started doing like other things that underperformed, started doing like Nuzlocke content more, because I'll show you their latest. They started making what they wanted to make. And I understand sometimes people get bored, they make what they want to make. But again, you saw that this channel could have been a 100,000 subscriber channel, could have gotten their silver play button. But a year ago, decided to take almost a 9-month break. Still got videos on the view because on this particular video, because it followed the pattern that made them successful. But then here comes the Nuzlocke content. Here comes about AI. Here comes, making modded Pokemon. The audience didn't care about any of this. All this creator had to do was go back to what performed. Look at this, letting AI rewrite Ash's Pokemon journey. So again, dipping into and caring about this AI thing hurt their channel instead of sticking to what was proven to work and a trend that they helped kick off in the community 4 years ago that's making other people get subscribers. And then here's where they go into random Pokemon card challenges and everything like that. Again, your own boredom will destroy your YouTube channel when all you have to do is figure out what works, what people want from you, and keep being consistent. And so this creator, and I'm not trying to criticize them, they did a great job. I'm complimenting them here. They had a winning formula, and they abandoned a winning formula because of emotionality, just being emotional. They abandoned a winning formula because, I want to make what I want. And it's so sad to me when someone's so close to a silver or gold play button and they just let boredom get in the way. But for gaming channels, this is normal. This happens all the time with gaming channels in particular, is that a lot of times it becomes making what you want to make at the expense of what the audience wants to watch. The audience will often show you or tell you exactly what they want to watch. The views will be there. And because someone thinks they have to either be original now, or they're bored, or they're over it, they abandon what the audience wanted to try to chase the next thing, and then are surprised that, hey, we came to you for this and you're switching up on us. We came to you for this and you're switching up on us. What's happening here? What the hell? And so that's kind of what happens. So with gaming, my advice for you gamers is very simple. You need to develop some way of standing out purely on high effort, because we're gamers. If we're gamers, we respect people who are high effort. Who wants to care about a casual? Like, you have to be better in some degree of the game than the people watching you that could just be playing the game themselves, or you have to elevate a more interesting aspect of the game than the person can on their own, or you have to make them reimagine the game in a different way, or see it from a different perspective than they were willing to see it before, or see what's possible. And one of the best things you can do, and the reason Minecraft and Roblox and GTA win, is because they're sandbox games that allow you to reimagine the game in an infinite number of ways. And so the content can always be new and different and fresh. And then we all know that a lot of the best views on that all come from people that are able to do feats, people who are able to do weird, outlandish things in the game that us regular, normal people would have never thought of, or not had the competence, dexterity, or patience to pull off. That's why trick shotting worked in the FPS community. That's why infinite air juggle combos worked in the 2D fighter community, like Evo and Street Fighter and stuff. Okay. And so you have to find a unique angle that allows you to make high effort content that is almost impossible to duplicate or replicate or pull off because of the skill barrier, the skill issue required to make that gaming content. If the gaming content you make doesn't require someone to overcome a skill issue to be able to make that content, then you can just be ripped off by a bigger creator that already has attention and already has resources. So your thing isn't special enough if the skill level is low hanging fruit. If it's low effort, no skill, then anyone can do it. And even if you did get attention for it, a bigger creator could just rip it off. And why would anyone watch you when they could just watch the bigger creator who ripped you off? See, there's the problem, because they can make it better. So you have to have a skill gap to attract an audience to some degree. I'm not saying this is 100% of the time, but this is the majority. So that matters. So maybe be and if you can't be a programmer, I understand everyone can't be a programmer, but I really love gaming content where I'm really passionate about it. Okay, get good or get weird. Get good or get weird. So sometimes you don't have to be good at the game, but you could be weird. And that's where sandbox games come in. If you're not a pro level gamer, play a sandbox game and then make weird, interesting storytelling content around a sandbox game like Roblox, Minecraft, or GTA 5. Oh, I'm not passionate about it. It's like, okay, what you want to make is not what people want to watch unless it is. So that's the problem. So, but again, if you want to do gaming content, the majority of you should do it as a hobby, because as far as niches go, it's probably one of the most difficult to monetize, the most competitive for attention in the marketplace, and often has some of the most fickle viewers, because if the game itself tanks through no fault of your own, through no fault of the community, and the gaming company falls out of favor, does something unethical, does a bad release, does something with microtransactions, NFTs, DLC, any number of things, the game can fall out of favor, people boycott it, people abandon it, people get bored with it, people get mad at it. Your whole channel and career is over now because you tied yourself to the Titanic. So again, most people, if you're passionate about gaming, do it and don't worry about doing it for a living, unless you're going to be competitive and go into like the esports thing, or unless you're going to go into sandbox gaming. And that, or again, for I'm talking in generalities. There are people who, oh, what about this person? What about that person? Exceptions that don't disprove my rule. Because what I'm talking about is market conditions. I'm talking about how the audience is going to respond. I'm talking about how the audience tends to react. And we've seen this. Oh, game's doing really well. The company ruins it. You're screwed. Oh, game's doing well. Audience loves it. Company decides to start copywriting, strike everybody. Your channel's deleted. Gaming is rough. And in that regard, I would call it probably the hardest niche in YouTube to turn into a career. And so most of y'all, it should be the thing you do for fun. Well, what about YouTube doing that in general? Nah, in general, not so much. There's plenty of things in YouTube that are actually easy enough that even if you don't go big, there's enough money in it to make it full time, and it doesn't have the unique challenges of gaming where too many things outside of your control. Gaming is the thing where too many things are outside of your control. A lot of other niches of content, most of it is on you. But gaming, succeeding and failing at gaming content sometimes has nothing to do with you. Most of the time, if it's failing, it's largely outside of your control, because it'll be the way the company operates, the way the community operates. It'll be any number of factors that are well outside of you. Now, again, there are games and franchises where that's easier and where there are less barriers. The monetization one will still be difficult to some degree if you're not going viral on views. The ad revenue is not always great. Now, the way around the ad revenue is like the long form storytelling, gaming content, Minecraft, Roblox, GTA 5, sports content, FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K. There's opportunities there. The ad revenue is a little bit better. You can do long form, insert multiple mid-roll ads. Streaming is a pathway to making more money with the gaming side. There are ways to get around the monetization, but there are specific games, franchises, and game genres that lend themselves better to it than others. So it's really rough. It's really rough. Yeah, Nerdy Times, it's not that gaming is oversaturated. It's that it's oversaturated with low-hanging fruit. It's oversaturated with low-hanging fruit. That's the real problem. It's not that there are too many gamers for money to go around. It's that in terms of options, the viewers consolidate to the gaming channels that they know will give them a good experience, and they don't want to risk it on a small YouTube gamer when they don't know it's going to be a good video that doesn't waste their time. So the problem is there are too many people who are not good at gaming YouTube to where the audience is over it and doesn't want to risk someone new. They go back to who they know and love and can respect and know gonna be a good video. Like if you click on Markiplier, you know it's gonna be a good video. If you click on Zach Scott, you know it's gonna be a good video. If you click on the Rad Brad, you know it's gonna be a good video. At this point, if you do a small YouTuber, you don't know that you're not going to get rickrolled. You don't know that it's going to be clickbait. You don't know that the audio is not going to be bad. So that's really rough with gamers in particular. So the thing is, it's consolidation. It's consolidation. And so that becomes the issue. What about reaction videos? Reaction videos, actually, everything I said about gaming applies to reaction videos too. However, with reaction videos, the big kickoff for reaction videos is often about timing. Timing is actually really important when it comes to reaction videos. Now, there are exceptions to this. But you can you can win on reaction videos and beat that by sheer volume of effort. Now, I have a student in Awesome Creator Academy that is about to be at 100,000 this year on his reaction channel. He does a music reaction channel. Now with music reactions, he's figured out how to do it. We worked out what would allow him to do it and not deal as much with the copyright thing. Like right now, he's also like doing a live stream right now where, he's reacting to Tom McDonald God mode reaction. And I think he multi-streams that. And I think it's probably going to do better on X than it does on YouTube. But the extra ad revenue is actually coming up, so that's not bad. So he's about to be at 100,000 subscribers. So what he does is he does daily music reaction videos. And the thing is, he does daily music reaction videos, really good microphone for it and whatnot. And the thing is, he does enough content to where the most popular content doesn't matter how his videos are doing that day. Because if we go and we just play the long game here and then look at his views if he gives it enough time. So for him, it's evergreen content. And the thing is, it's not always about hitting the latest and greatest. Sometimes it's about even hitting some old school stuff. And by doing that, he's able to do that. Even blind reactions, like first time reacting to something, does really good. He does good with his facial expressions. You can see the thumbnails are very good quality thumbnails. And so the first time reacting to something is actually a really good genre of reaction, especially for music, movies, television, nostalgia properties, high profile brands, stuff like that. So he made, really good visual style for his thumbnails. He's done so many videos that it only takes enough of them getting evergreen views to be outliers. So again, it doesn't matter how many views he's getting on his latest uploads. YouTubers have been taught and trained to care about the latest video. It doesn't matter. All your videos grow your channel. All your videos pay you ad revenue. All your videos can get you subscribers. YouTubers being trained to care so much about their last upload or their latest videos instead of to just keep going, keep trucking, keep showing up to work. That's what's hurting people's channels, is they're getting too emotional about how their latest videos do instead of to keep putting in the work, keep improving, and knowing that whatever's working, whatever's paying me, whatever's getting views, whatever's getting traffic, whatever's getting subscribers, great. Whatever's not, it was a lesson. So, okay, So there, boom. So that's why caring about your latest uploads, it doesn't matter, because the reality is what big YouTubers will never tell you is that their old videos are actually carrying their channel. Their old content is carrying their channel, and no one admits to this. I've seen enough analytics. I've seen enough dashboards. I've been in enough Discord servers. I've poured over it, and no one likes to admit that it's their library, their archive that is carrying to the finish line. But do you know why that's true? Because it's true for the YouTube platform itself, not just the creators. It's true for the YouTube platform itself. The singular biggest source of traffic that YouTube gets is not Mr. Beast. It's not all these viral kids. It's actually all the OG music videos that are on YouTube carrying the entire platform, and no one will talk about it. It is, and that's why the top 10 most viewed YouTube videos of all time are still music videos to this day. And no one will admit that MTV premiering music videos on YouTube is actually what mainstreamed the platform, not homegrown creators. And no one will talk about it. But you can look at the data yourself, and it's the truth. So the thing is, it's the back catalog that carries a YouTube channel. By the way, it's the back catalog that carries Netflix. So again, you're not, oh, I'm only as good as my latest video. No, it's like whatever is bringing you traffic is good. Embrace it. Even if it's a video from a year ago, if that video from a year ago is bringing you 100 new subscribers a day, what is there to be sad about? Keep going, revisit, double down. And then if you get another banger, great, keep going. Keep showing up to work, because something will hit. Some videos, like look at this guy. So with Mugnify, okay, 800 views, then 1,000 views, then 190 views, then 200 views. Oh, then, 1K in 13 hours, banger, on its way to go up, only up. Okay, cool. 79 views, but then, 1.7. It's, and the thing is, here's the thing. Quality not changing. Thumbnail quality isn't changing. Video quality isn't changing. Audio quality isn't changing. So what's changing? What the viewer cares about is the dynamic variable in views. So the thing is, think about it. If there's no difference in the quality of his thumbnails, no difference in the quality of anything he's doing, what's the differentiator? The differentiator is what the subject matter is. It's what do they care about? Do they like this music more, or this artist more, or this artist more? So with reaction channels, one of the things you have to consider is that the thing you're reacting to decides what the views are. And that's actually true for YouTube as a whole. If you do a video game, you cannot still keep getting views if people hate the game. No matter how good you make your videos, if people hate the game, if people are boycotting the company, it doesn't matter how good you edited your video. It doesn't matter how good you edited your thumbnail. It doesn't matter how good of or nice of a guy or gal you are. If people are boycotting the company, if people are hating the game, if the DLC is bad, or they scammed people with microtransactions, no matter how well you make the content, it doesn't matter. See? So you have to accept, okay, here are the variables of what's out of the creator's control, and some of that is things in the marketplace. So that means paying attention to the audience, paying attention to what's happening in your niche, in your vertical, in your genre, what people are feeling, what they're mad at, who they're mad at, what's going on. You got to pay attention. You got to have your ear to the ground sometimes and see when a threat is happening and when an opportunity is available. So a trending topic is an opportunity, but also the downfall of the company or the thing that you react to or the game that you play, that's a threat to your creator business. So a trend up is an opportunity, a new release is an opportunity, a new drop is an opportunity, but hey, the company's getting canceled. Oh crap, that's a threat. That's a threat. So how am I going to deal with that threat? What's my plan? What's my exit? What's my mitigation strategy? Like what side do I pick here? And the answer is you pick the audience's side. And hopefully that aligns with the truth. So You know, it's those sort of things. But anyway, Mugnify is killing it. I mean, because some of this stuff, again, he's at 80,000 subscribers, and like some of this stuff in 10 days will get like 5,000 views, and then that means, oh, it can only go up from here. And that's how on a long enough timeline, like in a year, some of his videos will hit like 100,000 views or something. So the thing is, he doesn't let an underperforming video bother him. He just shows up and he posts like 3 videos a day. He just keeps showing up to work and posting his videos, and doesn't let a few videos underperforming bothering him. Because look at this. In two weeks ago, he got 94 views on a video. Then he uploads another one and gets 14K views. But he wouldn't get those 14K views if he let the 94 views to bother him a couple of days before. You see what I'm saying? So like one of the biggest things that undermines YouTubers is they get emotional about how their videos are doing or not doing. And they keep convincing themselves that, oh, if I make a banger, every video after that will be a banger. And if I make a flop, every video after that will be a flop. Look at this. From 29K, next video is 2.4K. No quality difference. The only thing that's different is what artist he's covering. So that's where the attention comes. You know? That's all. So he just keeps going. And there's a lesson in that. And so sometimes I really like actually showing off, you know, some of my students' results, is because there's a teachable moment and a lesson in how different people approach their content. And with Mugnify, it's that he puts out 3 videos a day. So he works really hard, but he also doesn't let anything hold him back, because, all right, if this doesn't work, I'll get it on the next one. If this doesn't work, I'll get it on the next one, and so on and so forth. So he just keeps going, keeps putting in the work. He also improves at a higher rate than almost anyone I've seen, because he just gets better every day he goes to work. And so I think that could be an important lesson for creators. And I think no matter what your niche, you have to understand that on a long enough timeline, everything becomes a numbers game. Everything is reduced to a numbers game on a long enough timeline. Yeah, playlist. Yeah, your back catalog and using your playlist is an underrated strategy. It's actually one of the best things you could ever do, to be honest with you. Yep. Fretboard Diary says, Berto, dude, this advice right here is so on point. I'll admit it. Yep, appreciate you. Living on a Dime to Grow Rich says, 100% true. Old content is what's keeping us alive right now. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Alex, what's up, man? So Alex has been actually a member, you know, supporting the channel for 70 months now. One of the earliest people to do a YouTube channel membership. And so Alex says, he fired my job today. I fired my job today. I was already doing YouTube full time in terms of time and effort and income. And now I just removed the day job to make better videos. Congratulations to you, man. Big leap, big step. Hats off to you. For those who don't know, Alex has a fishing channel. Alex has a fishing and canoeing channel, and he's been doing it, keeping it consistent, going strong for a number of years now. What is it now? 7 years, 6-7 years now, man. So he keeps going. He keeps uploading his videos. He keeps putting in the work, and you know, it pays off. It's struggle bus sometimes. Sometimes things don't perform the way you like, but he loves it enough, and it's working out well enough to where he's taking the leap now, and he's going all in on it, leaving the full-time job. But look at this, guys. He didn't just decide to up and do this. It was years before he decided to do this. Years. A lot of people, you give it up after a couple of months. Alex is out here. He's made hundreds of videos and put in the work. So congrats and Godspeed. Yep. So let's see. I'm scrolling through some of your questions now. Yeah, no, I think that's dope. Gabe, I think I answered this. So if you're not an expert or pro in the niche, there are ways to provide value. Now, again, gaming is where I say you have to be pro. There are other niches where you don't necessarily have to be pro per se, but gaming is because of how much low-hanging fruit exists in that niche. So do not take what I said about gaming to be entirely universal, but it does apply to gaming in particular. I would say it applies a lot to gaming, vlogging, and reactions. Gaming, vlogging, and reactions probably have the most low effort, low hanging fruit content. To stand out, if you say I'm doing that to where people don't roll their eyes and then go, I'm just going to watch the biggest person. I'm going to watch Casey if I want to vlog. If I want to vlog, I'll watch Casey. I want a vlog, I'll watch Roman Atwood. If I want to vlog, I'll watch the Masley family. So what do you do about that to stand out? That's where for a vlog, it then becomes about identity and lifestyle, and it becomes about the reality TV content you can make, and it becomes about, hey, we relate. It's like if you want to watch a vlog from someone who reflects your lifestyle, your aspiration, your dreams, then that qualifies me to watch this video because no one is doing and making that thing that reflects me and that I identify with. Because I can't get that from Casey or the Masleys or from the Roman Atwood or whoever. So, that's why I said vlogging is now transitioned to reality TV lifestyle content that then niches down to an audience identity. Okay, so that's the pivot on that one. And so then when it comes to reaction content also comes down to taste, and it comes down to a community, and it comes down to culture. I would say that the strong pivot on reaction content to overcome, it's so saturated, is to lean into culture, and then to also lean into culture, find ways to be early to trends, find ways to create trends, find ways to create a unique format of reactions, or to create a unique gimmick as well. Same thing for reviews, for TV and movie reviews, same thing there. And then also to create a brand as well of like, well, what does your unique brand bring to the table that stands out? That's like, I cannot get this anywhere else because it can't be duplicated. So the thing is, if you can't be pro or spectacle to be non-duplicatable, then the brand experience needs to be layered and then non-duplicatable, but also desirable. It has to be desirable and non-duplicatable. So the thing is, how do I then build a persona, a style, an experience, a brand that then attracts the right people and then harnesses and maintains them? And then what do I do to make that not easy on a competitor to rip me off? Non-duplicatable. So high effort is just about non-duplicatable. Being a pro is non-duplicatable because of status and skill and ability. There are other ways to be non-duplicatable besides status, skill, and ability. So high effort can manifest in a variety of ways. I'm just using the obvious ones as my demonstration. And that determines on your niche, your personality, your abilities, your resources, your time. So the way that you can convey high effort, there are a lot of ways to do it. Which ones are accessible to you is a your mileage may vary type situation. Same thing with value. There are a lot of ways to deliver value. Which ones apply to you are circumstantial based on, again, your situation, your abilities, your resources, your time, your experience, manpower. And so, and what intangibles do you bring to the table? The tangibles are the obvious thing I can lean into. Are the intangibles? Some things are a matter of physical attractiveness, can be a wedge that you could use for value. You can use that wedge for value. You can use charisma as a wedge for value. You can use intelligence as a wedge for value. There's a lot of ways to deliver value. But then effort often can be the way to magnify and elevate value, and then also convey and demonstrate it in a unique enough or layered enough or complicated enough or inaccessible enough way to be non-duplicated, so you can't be ripped off by somebody. as easily, and they go, nah, it's easier to do this thing than to rip you off. And that's what you're really looking for. What you're looking for is, hey, that's cool. I want to pay attention to that. But also you want to look at, okay, and how easy is it for them to rip me off? How easy is it for someone to rip me off and do this if they have more money than me? Okay. Like, so you want to look at that. That's why I like skill, because skill cannot be overcome by money a lot of times. Skill cannot be overcome with money in most situations. So that makes it harder to rip you off. So if you do something and you're a smaller content creator and it's a skill, then if a bigger creator has more money than you, they have a skill gap, they can't overcome the skill issue, then they can't steal from you. They can't rip you off because they cannot compete on skill. But if what you do requires no skill and it's cheap and it was only creative, then that person with more resources can steal your idea and do it bigger and better than you. So you really should want the skill at some point. You really should want the skill at some point. And I hope that makes sense to people. I hope that makes sense, because I know it can be intimidating when I say, oh, if you're not going to be a pro gamer, like, quote unquote, like, what are you doing? Or I know that can feel like dunking on people or downing people, but I'm just being realistic in the sense that there is a massive disadvantage and you do have an uphill battle in terms of not only standing out, but if you do stand out, then other people are paying attention to you. And then what stops them from stealing your content and then pumping more money into stealing your idea instead of coming up with their own? So like, that's a big thing that happens in content, but it's particular in gaming uniquely. It's uniquely particular in gaming because of how accessible it is, and the fact that you have a lot of young creators out there, and they'll do anything they can to get attention, and that includes they'll rip you off and then throw money at your idea. Victor asks, Roberto, which business accounts would you recommend for your YouTube channel, and would it be necessary for a small channel? Small channels make money. You want to get into good habits as early as you can. Not all of your banks. You should look at your bank or your local credit union. You should obviously talk to a financial professional about this, but you should look at what your local credit union or bank offers for a small business account. You look at the process of either doing, if you're not ready for an LLC, look at locally what you'd have to do to get a DBA, which is a doing business as, and then you can use your nickname or make up a name to do business under instead of your real name if you want, that then you can do business under. You can accept money and checks and things in that name, set up a business bank account, get an employer identification number called an EIN. And then as a result of that, you can have a business bank account. And then that means when you file taxes, if you made any money from this, then not only can you can take deductions no matter what, either way, but there might be other benefits that you can do depending on how you set it up. There might be things that your bank or your credit union is willing to do. So you'll want to talk to them. That's why me nor anyone else who doesn't know you can't give you specifics on that, because we don't know what state or country you're in. We don't know what they offer. And then we don't know what your individual bank charges and fees, or what they're willing to do, or how they waive fees, or what they might be doing to accommodate you. And that's why it's important to go to them and ask. Also, your local bank or credit union often has a financial advisor you can talk to and get as much advice about your specific situation as possible. And they can look at your accounts and they can tell you what's right for you and what might be helpful. And also they'll know about what is locally available. So Terry WX, Roberto, any tips on how you can incorporate edutainment and storytelling into typical information style niche and still capture viewers for the established channels that deliver more lecture style content? Consider doing a case study that has a large number in it. Like we studied You know, we surveyed 1,000 people and found 10 sociopaths. Here's what happened. That's a spectacle storytelling video in the information niche of, say, psychology, for example. You know, we studied 100 men versus 100 women, and here is what happened. And then you do this big data dump case study, but it's like, yeah, men and women are radically different and everything like that. But you'd never believe how different they actually are. We surveyed 1,000 men and women at this, local college, and we asked all of them the same 50 questions to see what the results would be. And the thing is, we were shocked at what happened. Here we go. And then that's where you show snippets from the interviews, you show this, you share the data, and then you say, we expected it to be this or to be closer to 50-50. And then we found out that the results were 80-20. And then we were shocked. And then we taxed the students to react to the data when we showed them what happened and da-da-da-da. So that's like a combination of different things. Because watch this. Now you have a data case study. Now you have man on the street content from the interviews. Now you have storytelling and spectacle. Now you have, versus content in there. Now you have a curiosity thing, and you have identity plays for both men and women. You have that dichotomy there. You have snippets that can be used in shorts. You have all these things going on if you set up. And I'm just using an example. And because I'm not saying this is the content you're making or that you should make or whatever. I'm just using an example of how people incorporate otherwise dry, data-driven content into spectacle and storytelling, and how to present information, how to create stakes, how to create intrigue, how to introduce drama, and how to keep people entertained while still informing them. Oh, well, when we did the study, the reason we looked at this is because when people tend to do this and everything like that, we can determine who is or isn't a sociopath on these factors and these things and everything like that. And it turns out that of the people we surveyed, 10 of them are sociopaths, and you'll never guess who it was. Ding, 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 ding. So now it's interesting. See, there's that. People do this with science experiment content. Hey, what happens if we liquid nitrogen versus lava? What's gonna happen? So people do this all the time. You have to figure out, what is the most interesting thing I could possibly do? What is the punchline? What is the unexpected twist? Or how do I create stakes in this when it comes to this? This is why Lawyer Mike goes, hey, here are 5 things that you absolutely would swear are illegal that actually aren't. Lawyer Mike, okay, the law is the most boring, dry lecture thing that there possibly is. He makes it entertaining. And so what is he? He tells you, hey, you'd think that this was breaking the law, but what if I told you it wasn't? And then, okay, tell me more, Mike. What is this interesting thing I can do that doesn't happen to be illegal, but sounds like it should be? That sounds like an interesting story. That'll make me the life of the party. That'll make me able to show off to my friends. Let's go. Tell me more, Lawyer Mike. And so, hey, I'm Lawyer Mike, and today I'm going to tell you exactly how to get out of a speeding ticket. Okay, tell me more, Lawyer Mike. Let's go. So that's how you take dry content and you find the interesting angle that would appeal to the far majority of people where they are versus where you are. If your personality is the value, every video will be a hit. See, people want to believe that. There is a truth in that, but think about it. Everyone's personality isn't the value, but they wish that it was, or they lie to themselves and tell themselves it was. I'll let you in on a secret. There's a real chance that if you weren't popular in high school, that your personality isn't the value that most people are looking for. Unless you radically changed and had a glow up after high school. In which case, if you're the life of the party now, sure, you can believe that your personality is the value that you bring to your videos. If you're currently the life of the party, if you're currently the most interesting person in your friend group, then it could be true. You at least have some evidence of that. But the thing is, a lot of people, to find some confidence, some scraps of confidence to do this, They tell themselves that their personality is why people will watch. And then they wonder why no one does. And so you have to be realistic with yourself, and you have to actually know that your personality is the value. You should have some supporting evidence to get to that conclusion. And that evidence has to be more than, well, my mom likes my personality. Yep, this stream does have a lot of clippables to be repurposed to short form. I'm working on it. That's where I'm going to use my partner OpusClip, linked in the description down below. I'm going to use OpusClip, and OpusClip is going to make all of that short form for me with just a click. Hey, Carmen, how's it going? Appreciate you. Grape Tea News says, "What life of the party? Good analogy." Spots YA says, Roberto, what do you think about popular faceless channels utilizing artificial intelligence, also AI, content creation? I think they have to be careful. I think that they have to make sure that they're going to be in full compliance with YouTube's content policies. But I also think they need to be careful. And I think they're trying to make their money now and make their money as quickly as possible, because I think they realize that regulations will likely come that will undermine that style of content and then change the policy of the platforms. We've seen this with other things before. So YouTube's doing a disclosure policy now that I need to make a video about so people can understand it, because people have a lot of questions about the AI content policy. So I'm going to work on a video about that. So that'll be coming soon, just so that everybody can be on the same page. What I will say is that people doing that now, their entire content and career could get undermined overnight like that if regulations around AI change, and then, they're screwed. If the tool they're using changes too much, they're screwed. There's a lot of liability in trying to take advantage of AI content creation when it's so new. You might get an early sprint advantage, but not be able to go the distance, because the floor on the AI content can be ripped from right out from under you. Could end up being demonetized, could end up out of policy, could destroy your channel. Regulations could come. The tool that you use could go bankrupt, or could change its system in a way that makes your content not as good. You have no control in that situation. So the thing is, from my perspective, being a content creator is largely about trying to maximize a certain amount of control over what you're creating, how you're getting paid, how you're spending your time. So it's about control. AI largely takes things out of your control in a variety of ways. So for that reason, there are good things about AI, like clipping your content, for example, or cutting out dead air, or fixing the audio in your content, right? Those are good uses of AI. And those things don't take things out of your control that should be in your control. But when you use it for the content creation itself, that gets dicey. And when you're not in control, you can't necessarily control the quality, the consistency, because if they tweak the back end of the AI, well, what are you going to do? You have no control. You gave over all of your control and all the outputs to something and someone else, and you have no say in the matter whatsoever. I don't like the lack of control, but I'm also higher in the big five in neuroticism than most of you probably hyper neurotic and overly calculating compared to the far majority of you. I'm also probably higher in disagreeability than a lot of you. Lower in extroversion, high in openness, high in conscientiousness. But I don't like giving up control. Therefore, the liability and risk to AI of your creator career and future by turning the majority or all of it over to AI makes you more vulnerable than if you just were doing most of it yourself and 80-20ing it, 80% you, and then use 20% for enhancement with AI, and then you'd probably be better off. For example, if you perform the video in terms of your voice, but use AI for voice modding and modulation, I have no issue. It's your performance, it's your voice. AI is just used there as a voice filter. No big deal. I don't care. Neither does most of the platform, as long as you're not imitating somebody else for the purposes of fake news, in which case then the policy will absolutely obliterate you. So just doing it to have a robot voice or a quirky voice or a squeaky voice, no biggie, right? AI for green screen, as long as you're not doing fake news, fine, no biggie. It's your performance. The background is just a dope background that you generated. Flying unicorns in the background, lava from Mustafar in the background, ice from Hoth in the background. That's no biggie. No one cares. But can't be fake news, though. Can't be a CGI background for the purposes of fake news. So that's where the issue kind of comes in with that sort of stuff. So the thing is, enhancing your content with AI is fine. Fabricating your content with AI is a liability. So more crazy Wildfine says, what's the process for getting monetized on Twitter? Is it true that you need to pay in order to get accepted for ads to show up in your content and generate revenue? You do have to pay to be in the Twitter/X premium, which with that gets you access to the monetization tools, yes, and for the ads to show up. So that is the process for that. You also have to get a certain amount of impressions in a 3-month period. They lowered it, I think they lowered that, so I have to check and see exactly how many impressions you need now. And then you needed at least 500 followers, so that was it. So not bad. I will probably make a video about how to get monetized on Twitter/X or x.com/Twitter. So I'll make a video about how to get monetized there once I get the new lower monetization, because I used to know it, but they lowered the monetization. So now I don't know what they lowered it to, the threshold, but I'll let you know. And I think the ad revenue is starting to get pretty decent, to be honest. I've seen a lot of people reporting on their ad revenue. I was in an article talking about this. I think it was Forbes or Entrepreneur that I was quoted in. But the monetization there, I think, is going to get better, honestly, because they're also now starting. They haven't done it for everybody, but they're starting to do video ads and not just the text post. So that could get really good. That could get good. That could get almost comparable to YouTube or TikTok at some point. So that'd be nice. Lone Wolf and Cub Kung Fu, $5 super chat says, a friend of mine is paying YouTube to promote her channel and her subs are huge after 3 months, 50K. Is it wise to pay YouTube? No, it's not. There are exceptions to that rule, but I'm going to tell y'all, do not use the promote button. Do not pay YouTube money to promote your channel. There are so many things that go wrong when you do that and messes up your channel. And when you stop paying, the growth goes away. So do not do it. Do not do it. I get why some people do it. It's not really meant for creators. It's really meant for businesses. So like if you had a coffee company, fine. If you had a coffee company, you had a jewelry company, fine. But there's a specific strategy you need to use for that. And I would tell you how to do it. But for regular content, don't do it. Same thing for Instagram, by the way. Don't use Instagram ads to grow your Instagram followers. Use Instagram ads to sell a direct-to-consumer product or sell an online course or sell a digital download or sell your book or your audiobook or sell your music if you're a musician. Yes, do that, but not to try to grow your following in Instagram. Do not do it. So don't use it to grow your following in Instagram, and do not use the promote button to grow your following in YouTube. There's a business strategy for companies that sell direct-to-consumer to do that. But if you're just a regular content creator, it's not for you. It's not for you. You do not want that. Grape Tea News says, Roberto, what's your take on advice on celebrity news gossip channels? I had to delete all of my videos and essentially start over due to the reused content policy. I've been on my P's and Q's this time around. It's rough because you could always end up getting sued like Tasha K if you take things too far. And she's not the only one. A bunch of other people are getting sued. I think Without a Crystal Ball got sued. Tasha K got sued. It's a lot. There are ways to go about it, obviously, that make you less vulnerable to liability. This is also why, as a content creator, you want an LLC as a separate legal entity. You want to not commingle your funds so that you can stay truly separated with the corporate veil. You want to talk to a lawyer and an accountant about this. And then you want to get liability insurance. So you want liability, errors, and omissions insurance. A $2 million policy for that is about $160 a month. They basically call this media insurance. So basically, you want to get liability and media insurance. $2 million policy is about $160 a month. Also can cover you for up to 10 to 20K in gear if it's lost, stolen, or has accidents. It also covers you for liability if someone on your set or in your thing gets hurt on set. So you want to do that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder for news and celebrity gossip channels because people are now much more willing to be litigious now, and you have to practically adhere to journalism standards while being an independent and not having the resources of a news organization. So that makes it particularly challenging to do that type of content. Same thing for exposed content, anti-MLM, anti-scam, major liability, major potential for lawsuits. Multiple lawsuits, even at the same time, can become a thing. Lawsuits become very expensive, very litigious. I have a friend who is $330,000 in the hole for calling out a scammer, and he's been going through it for like 3 years now. $300,000 in legal fees, and he's in the right, but the guy just can bleed him in the courts. So really rough to do criticism, commentary, news, gossip. It's really rough out there. And the best thing you can do is have media insurance. So, yeah. Terry W says, newbie question, how important really is the first 10 to 20 videos to finding your channel audience? I'm building a brand and I don't want to publish anything until I launch my channel correctly. I think the first 10 to 20 videos are not as much about finding your audience as much as finding your rhythm, your communication style, and finding out what resonates when you speak. I think it's about finding out what resonates when you speak, what resonates when you publish, what resonates when you package, what resonates when you perform, what resonates when you show up. So it's about showing up, and then what's the response? So I would say less it's about developing or finding the audience and more about determining what gets a response, to what degree what gets a response, and having something to measure. And I would say maybe between your first 10 and 30 videos for most people, if you're sticking to the same thing and if you're building a brand. Now, some people are more experimental and explore, and that could take them 50 videos or more, 50 to 100 for some people. So I would say it's more about that, and not necessarily algorithmically finding your audience, but more about who is resonating with you, who are you attracting, who do you want to attract, and how are you then optimizing that? Rebecca T says, Roberto, how do you feel about incorporating your name into a new channel like Giada Eats Vegas versus going the more direct route like Vegas Takeout Review? Thanks. Okay, so it depends on your brand. Like my friend Natasha, who I helped give her some advice. She got like, I think 150K in YouTube, I think 180K in Instagram, 3 million in TikTok. Her thing is Tosh.fro eats, right? Or even Tosh.fro. So depending on which channel you follow, what platform you follow her on, right? So with her, she wanted to incorporate her name into it, obviously, versus more generic, because it was going to be her eating on camera. And it's going to be her personality, because she did a mukbang channel. She did a food channel. She did a mukbang channel. So she, that personal connection to the audience is very important. So the thing is, now some people do it very differently. Some people don't want the connection to them to be the feature. So you have, somebody from my community, the Orlando guy. You guys might know him. The Orlando guy. He does the tours and reviews of all the things in Orlando, Florida. He actually puts himself the least into his content, and it's all first-person view. He doesn't really insert himself into the content. Most of you will never know what he looks like. So the Orlando guy, you guys won't even know what he looks like. So some people choose whether or not they want themselves to be a primary feature of the content, and others want to remove themselves and highlight something else. Unbox Therapy, Lou from Unbox Therapy used to be a faceless channel with a top-down view to where you just see his hands and see the text. So he used to be Unbox Therapy, and it used to be all about the tech and not about him. Then it reversed later and became much more about him than it became about the tech. So it really just depends on what your aim is, and also what your personality type is. Avita says, hey bro, do you think that SEO for YouTube, description, titles, tags, etc., are as important as they were a few years ago on YouTube? I think people misconstrued this all the time. The tags were not as important as people think they were for YouTube, but they were for Google, and they still are in Google. And so if you do education content or you do product reviews, if you do education content, product reviews, possibly essay style content, maybe if you cover franchises, then you have to worry a lot more about everything and categorizing everything, because you're then playing into the same part of the algorithmic system for recommendations, not homepage views. Here's the thing. A lot of big YouTubers, the reality is the big YouTubers get their views from the YouTube homepage specifically. So when we talk about YouTube advice, the reason that you will have, one, a lot of big YouTubers will give very certain advice. Two, the people who work for big YouTubers and are strategists for the biggest YouTubers will give certain advice and say SEO is dead and all this stuff. And they will say that because it doesn't serve their clients. Their clients are big YouTubers. Their clients are famous. Their clients can leverage authority bias, pre-selection bias, and familiarity bias, and to some degree, in-group bias. So there's a psychological advantage that their status and social proof and established audience familiarity gives them that a small YouTuber will never have. So it's a privileged problem, right? So it's like, oh, SEO doesn't mean anything. It doesn't get us any views because you're already famous. You're already privileged. Why would it matter? You won't need it. You are a topic in YouTube. You are a trend. You are the villain of the week in Twitter or whatever. Like, of course you don't need tags. Of course you don't need SEO. You can make a video said, I breathe for 30 seconds. You could literally record yourself breathing for 30 seconds. If you have 10 million subscribers, you have 2 million subscribers, you can record yourself breathing for 30 seconds and get views. So of course, no feature or tactic is a deciding factor or a significant factor for someone like that. For someone like that in the views they get. And because those people get the most views, people think whatever tactic is working for them is the tactic to use. Whatever features they care about become the things that everyone thinks matter. Whatever they're doing is what everyone wants to emulate. But most people don't have the resources, their privilege, their status, their notoriety, their manpower, their team, or any of the points of leverage that they have. So it wouldn't matter. Now, Why do I bring that up? Because for a small YouTuber, they have to work harder at everything. They have to use every single scrap of advantage that they can. It doesn't matter for a famous big YouTuber to rank in search or to rank in Google. But for a nobody, it does. For a nobody, it does. Now, if you're trying to do pranks, of course SEO doesn't work. Now, if you're trying to do a tutorial video for a specific software, oh yeah, it matters. And if you're doing product reviews, it would matter to you to do everything, and I mean everything, in the same way that would matter if you were selling that product if you were in Amazon. So you should do everything and do it very well and do it in a very specific way. But since most people who want to do YouTube are not product reviewers, are not doing tutorial content, and are not, selling beauty brushes or paint or anything like that, or direct consumer e-commerce, since most YouTubers are not doing those categories and things, then YouTube itself has to go off the aggregate of what happens for the niches that most YouTubers participate in. So even YouTube corporate's advice will be, here's what most creators' content looks like. Here's what we say applies to most creators then. Here's what the biggest creators are doing. So here is what we will give the advice on, since everyone follows the biggest creators. So there's something that skews that when it comes to advice. The advice becomes skewed based on, okay, 80% of content is entertainment. More than 80% actually. More than 80% of content is entertainment. So, okay, what things apply to that? There's a big rift between what applies to entertainment versus education. Then even among education or edutainment. Oh, well, there we go again. And then most stuff is edutainment, not just pure education. It's edutainment. So even that then doesn't have some of the same rules applied to it. And so on, and so on, and so on. What you should do is this. Your topic probably matters the most. Why does your topic matter the most? I wonder if I have a slide specifically about this. I might have a slide specifically about this. Well, that one's about business, but it kind of works. Let me see if my other deck has a slide for this. That one might be close. This might be close to part of what I'm talking about. So there's a such thing as total addressable market, what we call TAM, right? And so whatever video you make, there's a market floor and a market cap. Here's the minimum amount of people interested in something. Here's the maximum amount of people interested in something, right? So we take that into consideration, and that's on a video per video, topic per topic basis, right? So that's what that is. Okay. There's also the market vertical. There's also the specificity of your niche. There's all these things. So your idea, your topic, where it sits, qualifies or disqualifies who can watch your video, right? Entertainment is broad. Education is narrow. So that starts the rift here of how many views you can get, which is why the number of entertainment channels far outweighs the number of education channels when it comes to who has 10 million subscribers, who's getting 1 million views per upload. Almost no education channels get those views. It's entertainment channels. And education channels that do perform are not education channels, they're edutainment channels. They're pop science, pop psychology. They're not necessarily truly teaching you something at level. they're introducing something in a way that most people can digest, and there's not depth to it, so they can digest it. So most education content on YouTube is not actually particularly substantive. It's just attractive. It's just attractive. So, but that's what it needs to get views, because views are driven by attractive idea, and then interesting at a glance, and then so on and so forth, thumbnail, blah, 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 all the things. And then retained by charismatic personality. No one wants to deal with a monotone lecturer, no matter how smart they are, okay? And so it's very much that. So when you look at that, and then you look at, well, search is a smaller audience. It's less than 10% of all traffic in YouTube. And so if it's already less than 10% of all traffic in YouTube, then even if we say, well, these things matter, it's hard to validate that, because it matters to the smallest overall population traffic source on the platform. If the majority of it is the YouTube homepage, then what's the value of that? The value of most of the traffic being on the YouTube homepage goes back to what I said about thumbnails. It's be visually attractive, interesting at a glance, and then from there, bold text, contrast, eye-catching elements, social proof. So if you look at the YouTube homepage, the things that have views from the YouTube homepage will have these. And by the way, when I say informs via storytelling, I should have just said the thing that I meant, which is interesting at a glance, which applies to the title and the thumbnail. Interesting idea at a glance, even, is what you could say. Oh, it's an interesting idea at a glance. It's visually attractive. It caught, got up. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. Oh, that's interesting at a glance. Oh, that's bold and stands out against a dark mode or light mode. Oh, here's these eye-catching elements. And then, oh, here's the social proof. So everything passes, like most of the stuff that has views on the YouTube homepage passes the vibes check. You can look at this and you can go, yep, passes the vibes check. It has those 5 things, or it has majority of those 5 things going for it. So that's the YouTube homepage. Suggested videos is going to be the exact same thing. It's going to pass the vibes check. And it's mostly going to rely on the thumbnail. So it's going to do that. So if that's the 2 biggest traffic sources that comprise about 75-80% of all the traffic on the platform, is homepage and suggested recommendations. And then after that, it's YouTube Shorts, which is all the scroll, and YouTube Shorts is based on previous viewer behavior, watch time, and click-through rates of what you clicked previously, how long you watched it, what started your session, what you watched to completion, what shorts you watched before, etc., etc. If those things are based on performance signals and human behavior and watch history, then the thing is, it's not that SEO doesn't matter. It's that the small amount of content that it applies to is not the majority of what most of you are watching. It's not the majority of what most of you also want to make. And it's not the majority of what most people are chasing after, both from a creator standpoint and a viewer standpoint. So it's not that it doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't work. It's not that it matters dramatically less per se. It's that at one point, the real difference is that people used to search for videos on YouTube, and now they don't search as much for videos on YouTube. They scroll, and they let the feed drive everything. They let the algorithm drive everything. People don't even use their subscription feed to find videos. They don't use their search to find videos. They mostly rely on the algorithm. So it was that we turned over our decision-making to the algorithm. That's what changed. We turned over decision-making to the algorithm, not to our subscription feed of what we decided, who we wanted to support. That doesn't matter anymore. And we're not searching for things intentionally. We're randomly scrolling through shorts now, because shorts traffic is going up while search traffic is remaining about the same. But then more shorts traffic makes it feel like search traffic is shrinking. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. What I would tell you is that you pay attention to everything. If you're a small YouTuber, you leave no stone unturned, you leave no opportunity on the off the table, and that you do every single thing you can. That's what I would say. Does that mean obsess over tags? No. Does that mean you have to buy vidIQ or TubeBuddy? No, use the free versions. Fine. I'm just saying don't leave the thing blank until YouTube deletes the field. Until YouTube deletes tags, you should assume they have some role, and if not in YouTube specifically, then in Google and Google search. Now, if you're just making pure entertainment content, pranks, something, whatever, vlogs, then don't worry about it. I don't care. But I would tell you, use every feature at your disposal that you can. Use tags, use playlist, use info cards, anything that YouTube gives you as a resource. Siphon as many views from that resource as you possibly can, except for the promote button. Do not pay for that. That's my point. The Dork Side TV says, hey, Roberto, when you have an active and engaging audience, is it smart to create a second channel that allows you to create different style videos, reactions for long form discussions for the second, something like that? Possibly. It depends. It works out for some people. I would say it has more to do with your bandwidth. And it just seems like if you're doing that, though, that you're catering more to your boredom instead of doubling down on your audience. Because if it's successful and it's engaged, I would try to get bigger. Maybe try to get bigger instead of starting a new channel. If you're starting a new channel, it just sounds like you're bored and you want to do something else. And I mean, I get it, but you could also double down on what you're doing and just grow bigger, make more money. You could do that instead of worrying about being bored. If you're bored, instead of starting a new channel, get a hobby outside of YouTube. I do not think that we need to express everything and get attention and get validation for everything because we're bored. I think that for most people, instead of starting a second YouTube channel, they should get a hobby. They should do something, go get a life, get a hobby. Instead of starting a second, third, fourth channel, maybe go do that. Do something away from a screen for a while. And then maybe things are better and then you're able to not be bored with your content because you have a life outside of YouTube. So I would highly recommend and encourage people that before they think about starting a second channel because they're bored, maybe just consider picking up a hobby that you don't monetize and don't put on the internet. Because, I mean, do you really need to express every part of your personality on the internet? Do you really need to do that? Let's see. Yeah, I think I got most of your questions here on Feedback Friday. It is 10 o'clock where I'm at. I think I'm going to call it a night. I think I'm going to call it a night. I have to get up early and head to the airport and go to NAB show in Vegas, but it's great hanging with y'all. Want to thank our wonderful sponsors. So thank you to Streamyard, who we use for our multi-streaming, OpusClip, who we use to cut up the clips and post across all of our other social media platforms, and to Kajabi, where we can build our online business, not be digital sharecroppers, not split that 30% with YouTube on everything. So thanks, everybody. You have a great night. Check out all the links in the description. They have all the resources I mentioned. And we're going to end the stream with with the trailer for my book. If you haven't checked out my book, it is called Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. And so make sure you're checking that out. It is on Amazon. It is in Barnes & Noble and Target as well, wherever books are sold. So we're going to close with the book trailer. Have a good weekend. Have a good night. I will let you guys know about possibly the streaming schedule while I'm out of town. We'll see what I can do. I'm out of town from the 13th through the 17th. I'm going to see if I can manage to pull off streaming while I'm in Vegas, as long as the time zone difference isn't absolutely wrecking me, and I don't have to be on stage. Then we'll see what we can do. If not, I will see you guys, I believe, next Friday for sure, because I'll be back, because I think I get back Wednesday, Thursday. I think I get back Wednesday. So, yeah, so we'll most likely stream on Friday. But other than that, you guys have a good night. Have a good weekend. Stay awesome. And I will catch you next time. I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and